You may even get tired of winning, and you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
Oh, son of a bitch.
I'm gonna come.
Salute.
Boom.
Go home to mommy. Oh, look at my African American over here. Look at him.
I don't really care, Margaret.
The N-word.
I'll be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
I like how you.
Greetings, Patriots! Welcome to the ASTROLABE. Do I have audio? Check mic, 1, 2, 1, 2. Can you hear me? I didn't touch anything. I didn't change anything. There should be no reason why you can't. Ah, you can. Excellent. Ah, good, very good. How are you guys doing? Happy Friday. I love that Friday intro. I live for the Friday intro. What a beautiful thing. Oh, I see you guys in the chat. We're talking about how the timeline is dooming you out. Well, then you have come to the right place because this is the #1 anti-dooming podcast, live stream, internet experience on the internet. It is the place to be. Ooh, top of the ninth, 2 outs, tied. Oh my goodness. They're taking it right down to the very limit. The Mariners are playing in an elimination game in the playoffs. I saw that the Big Dumper and Julio both struck out swinging back-to-back to end the bottom of the 8th inning. Speaking of the Dumper.
Dumps. They call them dumps. Big, massive dumps.
Gotta love the white boys, the baseball players with the fat asses. That's me. Of course I know him. He's me. My wife used to comment to me about my baseball ass. She hasn't said that in a while. I wonder if I'm doing something wrong. Maybe I need to do some more squats. Need to work on the baseball ass a little bit, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Big thick thighs. That's me. So we got a good show for you guys today. We are going to Matt has a dump truck. Yes. Yeah, I kind of do. Yep. Guilty as charged. Why she fell in love with me because of my dump truck. White men with big butts in American tradition. Hell yeah. You guys get me. Oh, we got some fun stuff here tonight. I decided that the thing with the Dominion voting systems thing, I had to push that off because I wanted to hit several different themes here tonight, and it's going to be kind of a long one as is, and we're starting late, so push that off to next week. We'll talk about that next week, but tonight we're going to talk. What did I put in the title? I just throw the title in like at the very last second. I get all my tabs put together, and I'm like, all right, ready to go live. Oh, hold on, I gotta figure out what the title's going to be. How about this? So, fat ass Tish James indicted. Katie Porter scandals, SPANBERGER debate collapse. Apparently, we're talking about Democrat women tonight. That wasn't actually necessarily the plan, and there will be some other things not related to that. But we're going to talk about arrests. We're going to talk about the Palisades fire, big development on that. We're going to talk about some of the details of the arrests and more that may be coming soon. And then we got some fun stuff too. We got to do an update on the Cam Scadaboo story. Hopefully Kate is here. If not, if you're listening to this later on, shout out Kate. We're going to talk about your boo a little bit more. And we're going to start off with a submission from the Wife Jack. We've got a powerful character here who is going to go fight a whale. So we'll get to that here in just a second. Let me. I just remembered. I forgot to grab the Streamlabs link. I haven't fixed it yet. It's something with my DNS settings that I've got to go troubleshoot, and I began the process yesterday with Grok, and I've got to do a little bit more with that. So let me grab the other link here real quick and pin it in there for you guys. So the tips.kingpill.com, I assume. Well, actually, let me double check and just make sure that it's not working. I assume it's probably not. Yeah, correct. It is not working. So redirect is busted for the moment. So let me grab this link here and pop it over here. Oh, we're into the bottom of the ninth. The Mariners going to walk it off. Oh, I mean, I guess at this point they if they win, they're going to walk it off. That's how it's going to be. Okay. Tip link. Okay, why is the keyboard not working? There we go. Tip link. Drop that there. I will pin it. Appreciate you guys for contributing to my streamer salary. I keep my compensation is posted publicly. If you guys feel like I'm worthy of a raise, then you can contribute using the link pinned in the Kick chat. If you're watching on X, then I will see your messages come through, but I guess everyone else will. It'll post up on the screen. But if you really want to be where the party's at, you got to come over to Kick. Download the Kick app and come join us here. I'm hoping that, in the age-old tale, I'm hoping that by next week we'll be able to get started on getting things a little bit earlier. But we still had some more stuff we had to catch up on today. So, and I finished up last night, then had a bunch of work to do, finishing up little details, and didn't wind up going to sleep until like 6 o'clock this morning, and I slept from like 6 to noon. So, yeah, hopefully we'll get going a little bit earlier in the day, starting next week. Get back to a bit of a normal schedule, and we're gonna work on the viewership a little bit. So go join the Kingpill Discord, kingpill.com. Turns out that link actually wasn't broken. I don't know why it didn't work when I tried to enter it last night, but when I went to check on it later, it was working fine. And as of right now, it is still working fine. So if you'd like to join the King Pill Discord, you're missing out if you do not. You've got if you want to get in proximity to patriots, that's the place to be. And some of the greatest patriots on the internet. So go to kingpill.com and join up. Come join us. And a reminder that we are doing a Texas King Pill meetup next Saturday evening. It'll be in the South Austin area, shooting for around 6 p.m. We'll be meeting up and getting some drinks. Mr. Buck Johnson will be there. Slutty Moke will be there. Mr. Sue will be there. It's Damn It Jeremy will be there. We're gonna have a bunch of the regulars will be there, and perhaps some others. We'll see. I've got some possible confirmations. So if you want to join us for that, then shoot me a DM on Twitter @RealKingPilled, or you can, if you don't have Twitter, then you can email me realkingpilled@gmail.com. The actual location where we will be meeting I will not be posting that out publicly. So if you want to get it, you'll have to contact me and let me know you're interested and you'd like to come, and I will give you the location. We had a great one in Washington. We were up there last week. It was very nice. Great to see some people. Will Lurch be there? I believe he will. I do believe he will. It may depend on his schedule, but last I heard, I think he will be there. So you guys may get the opportunity to meet one of the great supporters of the show, Mr. Lurch. But yeah, we had a really good meetup. Our preliminary, kind of like a dry run. Let's see how it works out to do a little King Pilled IRL. Astrolabians meet in person and had a great time with that up in Tacoma. And we're going to do it again this next week in Texas. And we'll do this more going forward, do it more frequently. We got to get in proximity to patriots, and that's not just digital proximity. We got to get in physical proximity, even if it just means for an evening, putting a face to a screen name, pressing the flesh, and getting to know each other. So that's very weird. Why is it saying that? Hold on. Oh, just spam stuff. Okay, never mind. Got a weird pop-up. But yeah, we would love to have you. So yeah, just hit me up and let me know. Man, I got the sweat pits going on tonight. See, back in Texas. Gonna be sweating if we're in Texas. I'm looking forward to the cooler temperatures. I stocked up on some flannels when my wife and I had our first date in 5 years while we were up in Washington, and went out and did a little clothes shopping. We first thing we did is we bought a suitcase, so we'd have an extra checked bag on the way home, and then we went and did a little clothes shopping, and I stocked up on some flannels. Got to improve my long sleeve shirt collection, and I'm looking forward to being able to actually wear them. Ear Hank says the 301 redirect is happening to blah blah blah. I assume your Streamlabs ID didn't change, but that's who is kicking back the 401 unauthorized. Yeah, I think it's something on the on my domain. I've got like a DNS settings thing or something that I've got to run through and troubleshoot. Might have to like repropagate it or something like that. It's stuff that I don't understand, but I'll have Grok walk me through it. Don't make it seem like we went to Neiman Marcus. No, we went to Ross and JCPenney. JCPenney actually had some decent stuff. Unfortunately, Macy's has closed down. That used to be a pretty reliable place to get stuff. But I'm generally a Ross enthusiast. You can find some really good stuff at Ross. But yeah, anyways, all right, let's get the show started here today. Thank you to Mr. Butt Poop celebrating his subscription for 4 months, subscribing over on Kick. He says, "Greetings, Patriots." Greetings, Mr. Butt Poop, one of our greatest Patriots. If you'd like to subscribe on Kick, please do. Kick only takes 5% out of it, so that's another great way that you can support the show. All right, let's make sure that this is set up right. Yep, looks good. Here we go. So here's our Wife Jack submission for the day from Sam Miller. He tried to fight a whale in Alaska. Now, since it's an Instagram link, I'm going to have to be quick on the... Got to refresh, and then got to unmute.
Me, before I fight a whale. Say hi, Joey. Hey. We're going to go fight a whale. We're going to fight two if I find a
Why wouldn't you?
Tired of their shit. Air, water, pick a lane, buddy. Are you a mammal? Get on the land. I'm coming to get you, whale. You're dead. my friend Joey got a monster crab. His name's David. I think he's a Pisces. You'd think he'd be a Cancer, but not all crabs are Cancers. Nah. This is me.
The laugh at the end of there. He's like if someone combined John C. Reilly and Chris Farley. That's funny. That was almost exactly what I thought when my wife showed me this. And I got to say, are you even a white boy if you aren't going up to Alaska and trying to fight a whale? This seems like a basic entry level move for entry into the official category of white boys. Spudrocket says we used to have a Lamont, Macy's, JCPenney's, Sears, Kmart, and Shopko. Now all gone. Man, Lamont's. That's a deep cut. I haven't thought about Lamont's in like 25 years probably. Wow, Lamont's and Shopko. Haven't thought about that one in a while too. Sears, Kmart. Yeah, that's my childhood right there. Sears, Kmart, Lamont's, JCPenney, Macy's. Man. Oh boy, extra innings. Oh, that's not good. All right. Well, keep me updated. Keep me updated. I have, the Mariners and we go way, way back. I remember my earliest Mariners game going to see them play the White Sox at the Kingdome. Frank Thomas versus Ken Griffey Jr. I believe it was, I want to say I was 4, maybe, something like that. And yeah, kind of like I've been in an abusive relationship. I really, for a while there, I had to just completely check out of Mariners fandom. Just couldn't take it any longer. Just the constant abuse and irrelevance. And I've kind of, I keep track. But I am completely emotionally inured. I am not going to be emotionally invested. If they're eliminated, so be it. Great. Season's over. Oh well. But if they advance, I'll get just a little bit more invested. So, I don't know. I'm kind of split here. Do I want to get more invested? We'll see. Niners, cheeky. Niners fan? Man United? All right, I don't really hold the Man United against you, but Niners? We might have to have a talk, man. That's I got to draw the line somewhere. Yeah, Trent Fuhrer, Lou Piniella era gave Seattle hope. We love our spaghetti Americans, man. Spitting on the umpire, kicking dirt on home plate. Oh, what a great era. He was at a game the other day, I think. Looking pretty good. Hope Lou's doing well. All right, so I played you guys that the Cam Scadaboo core yesterday. The white boys are taking over the NFL again, and this guy he's a, what do the kids say, a vibe? He's a whole ass vibe. He's got aura, something like that. This is an ESPN story asking Giants teammates to describe Cam Scadaboo. This is exactly what you'd expect. Here's Gunnar Olszewski, a fellow white boy. He says he blurts out anything. You don't know, sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong, but it's always loud. That's pretty much in any meeting we have. He's going to say something. He's learning, though. He's awesome. He's as genuine as they come. He's genuinely an idiot. Reserved is not in his wheelhouse. He doesn't know where he's at. Most rookies, when they first get to the league, are like, oh my God, it's the NFL. For him, it's just another day playing football. Tyrone Tracy, fellow running back, says, everyone tells me, bro, get your rook. I'm like, bro, what do you want me to do? Tell him to be quiet? He's always yelling. He's very loud. We'll be in meetings and Scat asks a question, just yells it out. He might be wrong, but he'll yell it out and everyone looks at me. I'm like, bro, what do y'all want me to do? It's nothing crazy, just like he's always yelling. Whether it's yelling out stuff in the meeting room or just screaming when he goes out to practice or something, he's just very loud. I think if you paid him to be quiet for a day, he couldn't do it. That's what I think. There was a report when he was at draft time. His mom said that when he was a kid, he used to get his brother's football pads and put them on and run directly into telephone poles. This is the sort of guy we're dealing with. Just a little Tasmanian devil of white boy energy. Daniel Bellinger, another white boy, tight end, says zero filter. First time at a special teams meeting, he asks, what's our job? Our job is to play with speed, get off the ball. And this animal just goes, physicality! And it just made no sense. He just yells things out, no filter at all. Whether it's right or wrong, he'll just yell it out. That's scat for you. And then he said, this guy's one of a kind, no filter. The first time I met him, we're in the sauna, and then we go into the ice tub, and we're sitting there in the ice tub, and this guy, right when we get in, just starts yelling. He's just like, ah! I'm like, are you okay? This guy's a little different, and I've never met any other teammate quite like him. Look at my retarded American. This is Cam Scataboo.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
And then running back Dante Miller says, I've never seen someone chew seeds louder. He eats loud. He does everything loud. It's quiet in the meeting room, and he's munching on seeds, and I'm like, this is not normal. What's a crazy cartoon character? That's a very, very good comparison. Like the Tasmanian Devil. I like that. But he chews his seeds very loud. No, he is not white. So here's I'm going to play a couple clips, and these might end up... Sorry about the episode yesterday. There was the AC/DC song, and then one of the other clips got the video blocked. The AC/DC song got it immediately blocked globally, as I would expect. So I sat there and waited after I uploaded the YouTube video, and then I went and clipped it out. And then the other one is the first time I've ever had this happen. It only blocked it in the Anglosphere countries. Maybe there was a couple of Scandinavian companies, but it was largely only the Anglosphere countries. So the video was there, but it said there was a copyright claim from Sony, so I had to go clip that out. So apologies if the YouTube video was not available to watch early on today, but it should be there now. So over the weekend, not going to be labing over the weekend. We're gonna rest up a little bit and start strong again on Monday. So over the weekend, you can get caught up on it. But there's going to be a couple of clips here that may get this one pulled as well. So I'm saying this in advance. If you're watching this on YouTube later on and suddenly there's kind of a weird glitch, it's because it blocked the video as soon as I uploaded it, and I had to go wipe out that section. But this guy says, my favorite Cam Scataboo highlight was when he played at Sacramento State. He scooped an onside kick and carried half the opposing team 20 yards into the end zone. And he's not kidding. This is not an exaggeration. Watch this. There's no audio on this one. Whole team's trying to take him down. Nope. Not Cam Scataboo. You're not going to take him down. This is Cam Scataboo for you. This is him at Arizona State. This is how he prepares for the game. Literally just headbutting a brick wall. How can you not love the NFL, man? Guys are walking past and like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? And then last night, after the Brian Cushing, or remember who was the fullback for the Seahawks? I can't remember. I can't believe I can't remember his name. It's right on the tip of my tongue. Owen Schmidt. Owen Schmidt, big burly white fullback for the Seahawks, coming out pregame, holding his helmet by the face mask, and just started smashing it into his forehead and totally busted his forehead open, blood streaming down it. This is the NFL, baby. Once the white boys get in there. So here's Cam Scataboo with Ryan Fitzpatrick, another white boy.
Hey, can I say anything?
This is the clip that's definitely probably going to get pulled later on. But so you guys watching it live, you get to see it. And if you want to see the whole thing, you'll have to go over and watch on Substack, I suppose.
You want? Okay, because I've been seeing Fitz take his shirt off. And here's the thing. If you take it off, Scat will take it off.
Yeah!
Oh, we got a deal up here.
Hold on,
Hold it right there. Take it off. Take it off. Take it off. Take it off.
See, the proposition here was, if you take your shirt off, he'll take his shirt off. And he's just like, let's go. I'm just going to take it off preemptively.
Here we go.
Don't hit the buttons.
Please. By the way, this is the best possible you could call. Good looking out, Jackson.
Yeah, get your, make sure you don't rip the mic off.
Wait, let me scoot over.
Well, don't worry about the mic. We'll get a new one of those. The mic linebacker.
Oh, yeah, let's
Shout
go.
out Chris Thompson.
Oh, yeah, Scott. Okay. Woo. Now give the woo. Yeah. Scott.
Here it comes. Yeah, baby.
I think we need the Scataboo chant.
Scataboo, scataboo,
Scatto, boom.
There we go. And with that, we will let these two go enjoy an incredible victory over
Andrew
the Philadelphia
Whitworth is a
Eagles. But
giant.
it was so good, we got to see it twice.
Hey, brother.
Unbelievable.
White boys are taking over, folks. It's coming back now. The NFL is ours. Oh man, what a the most heterosexual clip ever played on the Astrolabe. Here's one other one. Someone said that that Jackson Dart's the rookie quarterback and Cam Scadaboo's the rookie running back. Someone said Jackson Dart and Cam Scadaboo communicate like pit bulls.
No, I was not.
Look at my Pitbull Americans. Oh, man. All right, so got a tip here.
White man is back, baby.
Perfect timing.
White man is back.
While pearl clutching Fagans wail over their Karlebrot, kings rip into blood rare ribeyes and carve out empires. Weep louder, gimme crats your tears brew our victory mead. Also, can we get an Erika?
Okay, I gotta reread that one, I think. Ooh. While pearl clutching fagans wail over their kale broth, kings rip into blood.
The white man is back, baby.
Another one.
The white man is back.
That boy ain't right, Hank Hill.
Thank you, Slusher. That boy ain't right. Okay, the other tip was, while pearl clutching fagans wail over their kale broth, kings rip into blood rare ribeyes and carve out empires. Weep louder, gimme crats. Your tears brew our victory mead. Also, can we get an Erica? Of course you can get an Erica.
Auf der Heide blüht ein kleines Blümelein. Und das heißt Erika.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for the tips. Slutty Milk said, bro's been studying his screaming under the tutelage of Kyriakos Grizzly. Yeah. Scadaboo versus Antifa. Oh, man, send him out there. Unleash him on the fagans. Following up on that Erica, look at this great timing. I don't even know who this guy is, but I just like him already.
Rufen wir den Globalisierungsextremisten zu. Deutschland ist kein Siedlungsgebiet. Deutschland war die Heimat unserer Vorfahren. Deutschland muss als Heimat unserer Kinder erhalten bleiben. Deutschland ist unsere Heimat, unser Land, unsere Nation. Deutschland ist nicht verhandelbar. Holen wir uns unser Land zurück. Ich danke euch.
Oh, blood memories are rising. Our Deutschland brothers are powering up. Incredible things are about to happen very, very soon. And elsewhere on the planet, Kangman Lee says, I don't think there's a country that loves Trump more than Japan does. That last one there, you had to read the captions. You're going to have to read the captions here again, I would imagine. I barely understand what's going on here, but I got to say I dig it. And this coming from the Korean, saying that there's a country that no country loves Trump more than Japan does, that's a thing to say.
That's my rule. Yeah.
Fake news? I heard that. up!
Just me, no proof, just fine. この島のエンジンちょっと静かにしとこうか Just how the crowd decide. Go, go, green, go, 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 go. 拳を上げろ Boom, boom, boom. Take you away.
It's a banger.
Zoom, zoom, go, go. Fake も truth も break the rules. Zoom.
Is that Putin?
Say it loud, I never lose. Na 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 na. Say my name. Na 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 na. Golden Cobb. I is a voodoo go boo. I.
Now, can anybody enlighten me as to the significance of the comb? Does that mean anything to anyone? The golden comb, is this like some sort of like reference to his hair or something? I don't know what I don't know what this is all about, but I'm digging it. The comb over, maybe, yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. I don't really understand these the slanty-eyed folks. I don't speak their language. Like actually verbally or culturally or anything. It's I don't like, I'm not trying to say they're not human, but they're like a totally different species to me. Never understood them, never been able to even begin to understand them. I don't know. It's a Q thing for Koreans. The comb is a Q thing for Koreans. Is that what you're saying? Gold combs are right-coded now? Yeah, yeah, okay, I have no idea. Yeah, I have no idea either. I just like it. And it seemed as if there was a Vladimir Putin in there. Are the Japs doing Putin Trump fan fiction now? Very, very interesting thing. My wife said to do the air humper from the pre-show. Let me see. I got to see if I can find that. You know, but it's worth the wait. So hold on. Bear with me for just a second, and I'm going to see if I can find a video version of that. Let's see here. Let's see. I got to see this more clearly. Maybe if I come over here and check this. This will definitely be worth playing if I can find it. So I'm going to try to find it. Let's see, full screen over here, and let's try this. Do I need to remove filters? Get some. Okay, so that's mix. Okay, let me type this in over on this side. If I can find this, then you guys will be happy about it. It will have been worth the wait. Is this it? Oops, nope, that's not the right thing. Nope, I don't think that's it. What's the length of the track? 215. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it. If I play... Let me know if you guys can hear. I might be able to do kind of a workaround on this. If I go here, let's come back over to this, and then let me know if you guys can hear this. Whoop, where'd it go? Hold on. Hold the fort. Right here. Okay, can you guys hear this? Yes! man, that's such a banger. I don't know where exactly the cyberbully uncovered that clip, but the title on it is... God damn it, why did it go away again? It is the German Stolzbass mix by Velkenberg with a starts with a W and the U is a V. So you might be able to search around while I continue with the lab. You might be able to search around and find it. Oh man, okay. Let's keep this going.
The white man is back, baby! The white man is back!
Just saw a leftist claim that NBC and TikTok are now under right-wing control. Any idea what that's about? Also, nam ITD is retarded and getting raped on X LOL.
What's up, Barthuglekin? Leftists claim that NBC and TikTok are now under right-wing control. I'm sure that's because the TikTok thing is related to Larry Ellison, who has apparently purchased it. This is part of the big TikTok deal. It's funny that the leftists are saying it's under right-wing control because all the right-wing guys are saying now it's under Jewish control. And I'm just kind of like, I don't really care about this stuff. You know, whatever. I expect that the social media platforms are going to be hostile to us. I've lived in this world for long enough. Oh no! You mean the media is owned by the Jews? Oh! You're telling me this now for the first time. Yeah, that's what I assume they're talking about. I don't know about NBC. I know CBS was was part of the same deal or was related. Barry Weiss is now the editor-in-chief at CBS. I don't know what's been going on with NBC. I didn't see that. I did see, yes, Lord Breezy, I did see that Barron is being floated is being considered for part of the board at TikTok, which is very, very interesting. Andreessen is part of the TikTok deal. Interesting. I didn't see that. I need to do a little more reading on that one because it's one of those things that I'm kind of like, yeah, whatever. You know, I don't really use TikTok, and I have just always assumed that it's going to be hostile to me in one sense or another. But it's also been a great platform for pilling people, apparently. And I think anybody who gets really worked up about censorship, I think that the concern about censorship, oh, we're going to get censored, oh, they're going to ban us, oh, they're not going to let us say what we want to say. I think it's really gay. I don't. It's never been something that's really. I don't like. We're so good at coming up with ways to work around the any type of censorship thing that they do. So if they, like I saw right after the deal went down, apparently someone had commented with the juice box, and it was removed for hate. And okay. Bring it on. Remove the juice box for hate, and we'll pick a different emoji. What are you going to do? Ban every single emoji? Treat this like a game. Oh, you're not allowed to notice anymore. We're going to ban you for hate speech. Okay, we're just going to level up our hate speech. All you're doing is keeping our swords sharp. Keeping our swords sharp. You got to have the mindset of a winner. Anybody who's complaining about censorship and all this sort of thing, you're just advertising that you're a neurotic, insecure loser. That's my take on it, and I'm sticking to it. Use the Jewish star. Yeah, there you go. What, are you gonna ban the star? Do the little guy with the glasses and the mustache. I mean, there's so many options, and it could be literally anything. Everyone just collectively decide that, I don't know, the $ emoji, or thumbs up emoji, or anything. You can literally just do things. Dare them to remove comments altogether. Dare them to obliterate their own platform to try to prevent the noticing. It's not going to happen. If you're crying about it, you're a loser. Yeah, censorship made us stronger. That's exactly right, Trent Fear. The censorship made us stronger. It's proven the anti-fragility of our cause. Trump talk, yeah. Aspiring Midwit says, day 1488 of me not giving a fuck about TikTok. Yes. Thank you. Yes, exactly. Kingless Kingdom says, this is Israel acting out of desperation. They know they've already lost. Yeah, right. Streisand effect. Yep, big time Streisand effect. All right, so there was a big news announcement today. Everyone's, oh, Trump's coming out to make some sort of big grand announcement. What could it be? Maybe something related to China or arrests or whatever. And it turns out it's some announcement related to drugs and most favored nation status, and our prescription drugs are going to be way cheaper and all that, which is kind of funny. It seems like every time they do this, like, hey, there's going to be an announcement. At 5 p.m., Trump's going to make an announcement. And everyone goes wild. Oh, maybe it's this thing. Maybe it's that thing. And then it's something just totally unrelated. It's kind of entertaining to me. But that reminds me of this thing that a good friend of the show, Steve Banyan on Twitter, tagged me in. And when Trump did his thing about Tylenol, he also mentioned leucovorin. Well, here is a great story about another miraculous story about leucovorin. This is before leucovorin, stimming at school.
Drink your milk.
Wanting to communicate, making sounds.
Say mama.
Mama.
Say dada.
Dada.
Say please.
Me.
Please.
Me.
Say dog.
Dog.
Say all right.
All right.
Say say papa.
Papa. Papa.
So, I've been seeing a number of these lately. This is one that Mr. Steve Banyan tagged me in. But a lot of these stories coming out about leucovorin. She's Maddie Evans here says, I pray this is really happening for these parents and children. And Steve Banyan said, this is one of those things that, if true, moves joy and anger in the hearts of parents. Joy for the family to overcome such a struggle, anger at how simple it was for Trump and RFK to essentially snap their fingers and move the needle without amphetamines. Yeah, I haven't watched Jason's interview on the Will Spencer's podcast yet, but I know he went and he talked about the vengeful son thing. Obviously, I've talked with him a lot about it privately. He's talked about it a lot publicly. We've talked about it for a while. And there was a clip that was on the Sudawave yesterday where he said, you got all these kids who have been chemically castrated and made infertile, hacked their bodies up. And pretty soon those chickens are going to come home to roost. They're going to be very, very, very angry. The nihilism, the despair is going to be overwhelming. We've only just begun to see what it looks like when the vengeful son emerges. And this is why it is so important that you not give the time of day to the urge to despair. Because that demon is going to be running rampant. Despair is going to be if maybe apathy has been the predominant emotion of the last decade or two. Despair is going to be the big trap of the next couple of decades. And you cannot succumb to it. Despair is a sin. Do not despair. Do not give in to the dooming. Focus your mind on good, healthy, wholesome things. Choose to be hopeful and optimistic. I've seen a lot of people talking about the algorithm change on Twitter recently. And I've started following this guy, Nikita Beer. He's a guy they hired just recently, and he's working on a lot of the algorithm stuff. I turned his turn notifications on for his tweets because I want to kind of stay up to date on what they're working on. And so what I've noticed, it's funny, I see all these people who will post how like, oh, I see all this, the algorithms changed, and now I see all this like slop and libtards complaining about Trump, and I see all these bad things that I don't want to see. And I'm like, I don't interact with any of it, but I just keep seeing it. I don't want to see this stuff. Why am I seeing all of this stuff? Elon, fix the algorithm. And I'm like, it's really weird because I don't see that stuff. You know, when I saw the algorithm change, and it very clearly changed, you know what I got? I all of a sudden got a timeline full of people posting answers to prayer. I got a timeline.
Welcome to the Gulag. If you survive, you earn your freedom.
Welcome, Straight Buster. Oh, we got gifted subs. 5 gifted subs from Anonymous, Lord Breezy, Jumpa, CG Constantine, Han Pritcher, and Straight Buster. Welcome to all of you. Congratulations on the gifted subs. Thank you to Anonymous, whomever that was. We got new friends. I guess these are all, none of these are actually new. I know all of you guys. So congratulations to you on your new gifted subs. Yeah, I haven't had that experience at all. Whenever the algorithm has changed for me, I've gotten, wholesome videos of parents with their babies. And people, for a while there, for a couple of days, I had a ton of, every other tweet was someone posting a prayer request and or an answer to prayer. It was weird all of a sudden. I opened up Twitter one day and it was just like post after post after post, and the For You was all prayer requests. I was like, that's kind of odd. But generally speaking, my timeline has been great, which tells me that the people who are complaining that their timeline sucks are telling on themselves. If you think your timeline sucks, don't blame the algorithm. Blame yourself. The algorithm is feeding you what you tell it you want to see, consciously or subconsciously. If you don't want to see videos full of violence and dooming and retarded libtards and all this sort of thing, and you are seeing that, that's because something deep inside you is dwelling on those things, is looking at them. And I don't know exactly how the algorithm works. I don't know if it's drawing from interactions in other places or some combination of who you're following, or I don't know exactly how it works. But I can tell you that me personally, my algorithm has never gotten that thing that everyone else gets. And I'm not that ruthless about cultivating it. I do occasionally, but I'm basically the only time that I'm doing anything that could be seen as algorithm cultivation intentionally is if I post something and I get spammed by a bunch of groypers or something and I just start blocking them all. On some of those cases, if someone comes in and they're just hostile or insulting or something like that, and they're not, if they're insulting and hostile but they're entertaining, then I'll engage with them. But if they're not, then I'll just block instantly. That's basically the only thing I do. So I'm not like ruthlessly cultivating my algorithm and then saying, oh, look, I've got a good one. I'm just open it up and I just see, hey, that's the thing I wanted to see. There's a mutual. There's a mutual of a mutual posting something interesting. I get weird schizo stuff sometimes that's fascinating. And supposedly one thing that they're talking about is coming soon will be personalized, customizable algorithms through Grok. So you can actually create your own algorithm intentionally. And it'll be very interesting to see if there will be a way for you to export or share your algorithm. If you can customize your algorithm and then share it with someone else. I've set it up to give me these things, and I want, my timeline is great. Do you want to see my timeline? Here's what it is. That'd be a very interesting feature. I don't know how they would do that, if it would even be possible. But yeah, if you're going on the internet and you're seeing stuff you don't want to see, there are 2 very easy, ready-made solutions for you. Number 1, stop looking at the stuff you don't want to see. If you keep seeing it, it's because you keep looking at it. You keep seeking it out, no matter how much you tell yourself you aren't. And number 2 is just log off. It's okay. You can just log off. It's perfectly fine. In fact, this is part of why the King Pill Discord and the Astrolabe exist. This is part of my thinking in creating both of these things. If you're in the King Pill Discord, you're going to get all of the stuff that you need to see is going to get dropped in there regularly. We've got a ton of great people who are going out. They're harvesting all of the great stories and tweets and links and podcasts and everything else, and they'll drop them in there. So if you're fatigued by the timeline, then just go join the King Pill Discord, and you will get all the stuff you need to know. If you want to kind of stay tuned in to some of the stuff, but you don't want all the other extraneous bullshit, Kingpill Discord, kingpill.com. Go sign up there. Or just come listen to the Astrolabe. Because the whole point of this is that I'm going to tell you the stories that are most important, most timely and most important that I'm paying attention to. And I'll just do it for you. I've got my perfectly tuned algorithm, and I'll share it with you. Miles Standish is saying I owe it to myself to turn on this game, Mariners game. I don't even think that I have a way of watching it. I've got Game Day open on the side here. Oh, Josh Naylor's up to bat. I don't even think I have a way to watch it though, and I have a feeling that it might get the stream taken down. I don't know if Kick would take down something like that. But I know a lot of the guys I see when I go over to my lib Twitter and follow my sports guys and I go look at them. I see they're watching, but they're not actually streaming the game itself. They're just streaming themselves reacting to it. Watching the Naylor in play outs. Okay. Well, there goes that. Okay, let's keep it going. So going into the 12th inning. They're really making it hard on everyone, aren't they? All right, speaking of health information, President Trump. Look at my president. President Trump is in exceptional health after today's physical. His cardiac age is 14 years younger than his actual age. Here's his his physician says President Donald J. Trump successfully completed a scheduled follow-up evaluation today at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center. The visit was part of his ongoing health maintenance plan and included advanced imaging, laboratory testing, and preventative health assessments conducted by a multidisciplinary team of specialists. These evaluations were performed in coordination with leading academic and medical consultants to ensure optimal cardiovascular health and continued wellness. Comprehensive laboratory studies performed in conjunction with the visit were exceptional, including stable metabolic, hematologic, and cardiac parameters, which is just insane. Just insane. The lifestyle that the guy leads, he is one of one. That he can eat the way that he does. He can get basically no sleep. He can live in a maximally stressful environment. And he's 80, and he's got the heart of a 66-year-old. Incredible. In preparation for upcoming international travel, President Trump also received preventative health screenings and immunizations, including annual influenza and updated COVID-19 booster vaccinations. Now, I know a lot of people are probably like, he's getting the shot. But consider the fact that I guarantee you, he has been up to date on all of his boosters to this point. So this phenomenal health screening is after he has been getting the shot. Yes, Trust Plan Sar, the divine mandate improved his physical health. He is more powerful than the vaccination. Trump gets the booster vax so that he can improve the effectiveness of the vax. Also, yeah, Trump ain't getting the booster y'all been getting. Yes, for sure. President Trump continues to demonstrate excellent overall health. His cardiac age, a validated measure of cardiovascular vitality via ECG, was found to be approximately 14 years younger than his chronological age. He continues to maintain a demanding daily schedule without restriction. Summary: President Donald J. Trump remains in exceptional health, exhibiting strong cardiovascular, pulmonary, neurological, and physical performance. Look at the man. Power levels just unmatched. The most powerful person we will ever see. Look at this. The people of Chicago love Chief Border Patrol Agent Gregory Bovino. Showed you guys some clips of this guy before. Check him out, hobnobbing among the people.
Hey, we do that one too.
Right. How are you? Hey, I'm feeling better than that, sir, I guess.
Full of energy. Hey, we need some energy. We gotta have some energy here going on, guys.
Drinking C4s like a patriot.
Yes, sir. Hey, thank y'all.
Look at my African American. Now, apparently, a Chicago gang has put out a $10,000 bounty on his head. So say a prayer for Chief Border Patrol Agent Gregory Bovino. Powerful Mutual Jim Sharp says we are returning to a natural state of hierarchy where warriors and kings are becoming popular and ingrained in public life. This is how humans are designed to organize a healthy ruling class. The days of the manager are over. The rule of warrior is coming. And to that I say, great tweet. And speaking of Border Patrol, here's a couple of DHS bangers. They're keeping it up. The United States has the same right to protect itself from death by nullification, secession, or rebellion that a man has to protect himself from death by assassination. From the great Teddy Roosevelt. This is what they call Keno.
Leave the roadway and move on to the sidewalk now. Fucking
They got the Bortak boys out there. We will make America safe again. Thank you, Homeland Security account. Thank you, Homeland Security boys. Now, this is a little story that happened while I was in Washington. Had to make sure I got it in here before too much time went by. Country superstar Zach Bryan went and stepped in it. He takes aim at ICE, claiming the country is fading in a snippet from his upcoming song, Bad News.
Didn't wake up, dead or in jail. Some out-of-town boys been giving us hell. I got some bad news. I woke up missing you. My friends are all degenerates, but they're all I got. The generational story of dropping the plot. I heard the cops came. Cocky motherfuckers, ain't they? And ICE is gonna come bust down your door. Try to build a house, no one builds no more. But I got a telephone. Kids are all scared and all alone. The boss stopped bumping the rock, stop rolling, my middle fingers rising, and I won't stop showing. Got some bad news, the fading of a red, white, and blue.
He makes such good music, but unfortunately, many such cases, he is a hicklib. And I gotta wonder if he was put up to this, like if this is something he actually wanted to do himself, or if someone basically paid him they're like, hey, you gotta write an anti-ICE thing. Make the libs be like, oh yeah, anti-ICE. Oh, look at our country music anti-ICE guys. See, even the country guys, even they're upset about it. Well, here's what we have to say.
No, we're not doing that. You're getting called a slur. I don't know which one. Whichever one I feel like saying at the moment. You're getting called a slur.
And the next day, the great and excellent, wonderful Homeland Security account posted this. We're having an all-night revival.
Lord, forgive us, my boys and me. We're having an all-night revival. Some call the women and some will steal the Bible. For the sake of my survival. Baptize me in a bottle of bean for Johnny on the vinyl.
Wonderful, wonderful work. Just, I love our government posters. What's up, Super Skunk? New chatter. Good to see you, man. He says, I'll subscribe once the government reopens. Well, I'll say this. Well, actually, no, I'm not going to say that because that would probably be something bad for you. I was going to say that I hope you never get to subscribe. But that'd probably be bad for you personally. Continuing here, here's the president. Another great line from while I was gone.
Who to speak to. I'll tell you what, I'm getting calls from Democrats wanting to meet. I never even heard their names before, and they're claiming to be leaders. The Democrats have no leader. They remind me of Somalia, okay? They remind me of Somalia.
Somalia.
Okay? You know? And I met the president of Somalia. I told him about the problem he's got. I said, you have somebody from Somalia who's telling us how to run our country. She's from Somalia. He said, would you like to take her back? He said, no, I don't want her. Okay, you know who I'm talking about? Who to speak to.
Now, of course, this is while he's sitting here with Mark Carney, Prime Minister of Canada. Leafs, where are you at? Come get your boy. Our guy's dunking on him.
This is, in many respects, the most important.
The
what
merger
you created
of Canada
no,
and the
what
United
you
States.
created. That wasn't where I was going. I was no, but on this solemn day of this is.
The merger of Canada and the United States. And then, I did not know that Mark Carney has a transsexual child. I wonder if Trump knows.
We have no men and women's sports. Basic things. We're not going to take your child away and change the sex of your child. We're not going to do things like that. What they're doing to the country is so incredible. And they got away with it with all their woke crap, and now it's stopped.
Right in front of him. Now, that just reminded me of this clip that I forgot to... I'd saved this the other day, but I don't remember where it was. I was going to see if I could find it here real quick. Carney was being interviewed and was asked about Trump. And let me just see if I could find this here. Asked about Trump. And they were like lining it up for him to criticize him, take a shot at him or something. And he was just super complimentary. He was like, oh yeah, he's great. He's very insightful. He's very engaged. He listens closely and is just a fantastic negotiator and was just thoroughly complimentary of him. And the reporter was like, okay, anyways, on to the next question. I'm not finding it here. Oh, here it is. Just found it right when I said that. Let me make sure I get this. Yep, right spot. What's Trump like to deal with?
What's he like to deal with?
Well, you've interviewed him. I know that.
But you've met him much more than I have.
I have. Look, he is very. I mean, look, he's very sharp. He's very curious about people's opinions on a wide range of issues, and so he will solicit my views, other people's views on topics of the day, particularly international. He's decisive, and he has an ability to change the dynamic very quickly on, whether it's with respect to Ukraine, peace in the Middle East, global trade, and beyond. So you can understand, it's absolutely clear why he's leader of the United States. I mean, you put together all those qualities.
Yeah. After that, she was like, yeah, okay. So next question. Okay, so there's this thing that's been going on with China that I've watched sort of from a distance. There was reports that were coming out for the last couple of days that China had was making a move. China's finally making their move, and they're saying that essentially I think if I understood it correctly, it was basically that they were going to be, they wanted authorization, they wanted say-so, sign off on any sort of move that was made by any country that had anything to do with any rare earth minerals that came from China. And it's very interesting that they've waited this long for that. And I think you got to keep in mind that all of these things are connected. So Venezuela, what the Trump administration is doing in Venezuela, is very closely tied to China. The trade negotiations and the narco-terrorist bombing and the putting military pressure on Venezuela and putting a bounty on Maduro's head and deporting Tren de Aragua members, all of this sort of thing, these are all part of the same story. And then Canada as well is effectively a proxy for these same the globalist interests. Some of that is Chinese is not necessarily globalist, but there is some globalist connections there. But then you have the more European-centric globalists, and there's all these different power centers that are all jockeying for position. And in some cases, they're cooperating with each other, and in some cases, they're not. And anybody who tries to say that there's like one single group that's controlling everything is they've got something to sell you. There's it's way too oversimplified. So in certain cases, you might have the Europeans and the Chinese cooperating with each other. In other cases, they're not. In other cases, they're very hostile to one another. You might have the Canada is cooperating in certain cases with India, and in certain cases with China. They've got a lot of Chinese assets embedded within Canada. They're also an asset of the Davos or the European banking establishment. But even the Europeans themselves, like this, the whole notion that you're going to get a united Europe is preposterous, because the entire history of Europe is constant little internecine squabbles between everyone. So everyone is jockeying for power, and we're in a very fluid state. Lots of things are the board has kind of been, you can kind of think of it as like in Inception, where you'd get like these slow motion scenes. This is kind of the way I visualize it in my head, where you get like the really slow motion scenes where something's getting thrown up in the air and everything is moving really slowly. You can kind of think of that like that. But at any point, everything's moving really slowly, and then suddenly it could fall down and come back down to earth. And there could be there's going to be a reallocation of power in that. Looks like the Mariners just survived a bases-loaded jam in the top of the 12th. I was watching it for a minute here, but that's some work, man. I can't even imagine what my people are going through right now. So there's an interesting thing that's been going on with Argentina, and I've been trying to keep an eye on it, but haven't been able to follow it really closely because I've got too many different threads running through my head right now. But here's an interesting interview excerpt with Scott Bessent, and then I've got a good breakdown here from Endgame Macro. We haven't seen him on the show here in a little while. So first of all, let's listen to the Gigafag.
Explain to our viewers what is going on with Argentina, because the U.S. Treasury today directly purchased Argentine pesos and finalized this $20 billion currency swap framework with Argentina's central bank. So the intent, I guess, is to provide assistance from the Latin American country's economic turmoil. It's clear how Argentina benefits from this deal. What do we get out of it?
We get a lot out of it. Argentina is a beacon in Latin America. President Milei has done the right thing. He is trying to break 100 years of a bad cycle in Argentina. He is also a great ally for the U.S. He'll be coming to the Oval Office next Tuesday, and he is committed to getting China out of Argentina. They're all over the place in Latin America. And when people say to me, how is this not America first? I'll tell you why it's not. Do you want to be shooting at more gunboats like in Venezuela? We do not want a failed state.
So this isn't a bailout?
Sorry, it's not a bailout at all. There's no money being transferred. The ESF has never lost money. It's not going to lose money here. I was in the investment business, mostly currencies, for 40 years. You're supposed to buy low, sell high, and the Argentine peso is undervalued. We're going to have an election in Argentina the 26th of this month. We think President Milei will do quite well, and
We think he will do quite well. I wonder why they think he'll do quite well. If you think that the regime change thing is gone, like, I'm telling you, no, not a chance at all. But this is a very different thing. Regime change in South America to maintain control over the Western Hemisphere is a wholly different thing than the types of regime change that has been done in the Middle East and Iran and all these other places. No, I'm going to tell you 100%, you are out of your mind if you have a problem with the United States declaring the Western Hemisphere is our territory. We are the top dog in the Western Hemisphere, and we're not going to accept anything except for acquiescent, subservient leadership in every important country in this hemisphere. And we're going to have a say-so in that. If you've got a problem with that, okay, sorry. You know, this you got to get with the times.
Putting the Peronist path behind them. And people in the U.S., especially on the left, they are willing to, Senator Warren tried to put a bill in front of the Senate that the Exchange Stabilization Fund could not bail out Argentina, which I think is rich because she's an American Peronist. Don't cry for me, Massachusetts. And
an American
when
Peronist.
Joe
There's
Biden was in office,
a drop.
What was their idea of foreign aid? It was circumcisions in Malawi and drag shows in Central America. So we are going to use Argentina as an example. We back up our allies, and the Obama administration missed a big opportunity in the 8 years he was in, as many Latin American governments went center-right. So we are seeing Argentina, Paraguay, Ecuador, Bolivia, I think Colombia in the next election. So it is
This is key for us. China is...
It's funny that the examples that he uses, circumcisions in Malawi. Yeah, Trust Play and Star. There's a significant difference between a true American empire and global homo. Right. A true American empire that's doing regime change operations, particularly using the carrot versus the stick, as E.R. Hank says here, is a different thing than the gay doing regime change operations the way that it has been done for the past several decades. And I'm sure there's someone out there who's going to be like, you're just coping, you'll just rubber stamp anything that Trump does. Yes, correct. When my guy does things that he thinks are important and valuable, I will support that. That's how it works. Welcome to patronage. Welcome to hierarchy. When our empire does it, it's good. When their empire does it, it's bad. End of story. So this is what Endgame Macro says. Argentina, and the timing of this is very interesting, given this observation that he's making here with the stuff that China, with their the rare earth minerals haggling that they've been doing with the United States, and now them escalating, and Trump responding by saying, all right, 100% tariff on everything, starting beginning of November. Very interesting timing with this. Argentina is one of the world's largest holders of lithium, copper, and rare earth minerals, critical materials for electric vehicles, semiconductors, and defense systems. Whoever secures Argentina's mineral trade secures leverage in the clean energy and tech future. By setting up a $20 billion currency swap and buying pesos, the U.S. is quietly reasserting dollar control in a region where China has made serious inroads through yuan swap lines and mining partnerships. Argentina has been drifting toward the yuan for trade settlements. This deal pulls it back into the dollar system. Remember the dollar system that we've talked about in past shows? The dollar system that they're setting up. You've got the Besant has his red, yellow, green categorization system. You can be a red nation, you can be a yellow nation, you can be a green nation, and part of being a green nation means you get to be part of the American security umbrella, and you need to open up your economy to us, remove all trade barriers, and participate in the new dollar system that is going to be constructed. And so in this sense, this is an expansion of the American empire. You're almost redefining American territories. Maybe you maintain nominal sovereignty, but in practical terms, You're going to be part of the American economy. You're going to be an extension of the American economy, effectively like a territory. This also lets the U.S. manage global dollar demand without touching domestic monetary policy. Normally, if emerging markets like Argentina start running out of dollars, it forces global tightening. Everyone scrambles for liquidity, the DXY spikes, that's the dollar index, and the Fed might feel pressure to intervene. But by providing a direct dollar lifeline to Argentina, using this is the Exchange Stabilization Fund. So this is the Treasury providing dollars directly to Argentina. This is not coming from the Fed. This is coming from the Treasury directly. By providing a direct dollar lifeline to Argentina, Washington prevents that scramble before it happens. The Treasury can inject liquidity exactly where it's needed, stabilizing a key emerging market without cutting rates or expanding the Fed's balance sheet. Argentina gets breathing room, the global dollar system avoids a squeeze, and U.S. yields stay anchored. At the same time, this gives Washington renewed leverage over how Argentina monetizes its resources. By ensuring trade and financing remain dollar-based, the U.S. keeps strategic minerals flowing through Western supply chains rather than yuan-based alternatives. So while it looks like a simple act of financial aid, it's actually a three-dimensional move. The U.S. contains global dollar stress, limits China's influence, and keeps control over one of the world's most valuable resource bases, all without changing monetary policy or spending a dime in Congress. And I just got to say, once again, if you think there's not a plan, I don't know what you're watching, man. It's funny how she asks him this question.
Explain to our viewers.
I don't remember exactly where it was, but she was basically like, "Oh, is this a bailout?" And he's like, you could see his expression. He's kind of like, "What are you talking about? Like, my entire life has been spent in the private sector investing primarily with currencies. I know how this shit works, woman. Don't insult me." Okay, hold on a second. Let me go. I see you guys are chatting about stuff happening in the game here, so let me come check on it. So we had a walk. Leo Rivas walked. Leo Rivas had the pinch hit, base hit that drove a run in to tie the game at 2-2. Then a throwing error on a pickoff attempt at first. Then a hit by pitch. So they got men on first and second. Count is 3-1. Who's up? Crawford. Ooh. We're going to get a foul bunt. So he's trying to bunt him over. Who's up next? I haven't used this interface in so long. After JP Crawford, number 9. Okay, Rosarina, Cal Raleigh, Julio Rodriguez. Oh, this could be setting up for some fun stuff. All right, you guys keep me posted. I want to see what this next pitch is. Full count. There's no way he's bunting again. In play, outs. R.I.P. Yeah, that strike call was terrible. Well outside. Flies out to left fielder. Oh, I can't even tag up. Well, that sucks. All right, Randy Rosarina. So let's see, 1 out. Okay. All right, back to the Labe. Okay, so I've got a great great thread here from Nietzsche's Retarded Stallion. Posted this phenomenal thread, professional game theorist, death to trolley problem morality. He's at The Ugliest Man, and posted this phenomenal thread, and then I realized he was following me. This is a cool thing to discover, so a very smart person is following me. I like that. She says, as a literal professional game theorist, let me break down what's going on with this administration's passivity in regards to other branches and factions of government, particularly the judiciary, but also the state governorships, the AGs, mayors, etc. Because the game theory of this moment is more tricky than one might suspect regarding the Trump admin and the judicial tyranny alongside everything else. One of the reasons I really like this guy's thread is because he's validating a lot of what I've already said, but he's doing it in smarter words than me. He says the game structure as it stands is basically such that whenever the next time the Republicans lose an election again is, we lose our country. Game over. R.I.P. America and inevitably the West. Thus, in this sequential stretch of power from this very moment on, you have to gauge how likely you think you are to lose that sequential control and over what points in time for every possibility. So basically, if Trump cannot take over the entire political system before the next time he presupposes he may lose total control again, then he has to instead try to play a gambit where he sacrifices otherwise important assets in order to try to provide himself a more dominant position in the immediate sense, at the expense of his overall long-term playability. So basically, it's a bet saying, I like my odds better when forcing the issue now, at a material disadvantage overall, but at a strategical and tactical advantage in the short term, where I will then try to force the end of the game before the expected value of material disparities regresses to the mean, via the passage of time. So in doing this, he's basically acknowledging that if he goes to the end game and plays all of this out, he is more likely to lose all in all than if he forces the issue at an earlier node, despite any material cost experience then and there. The trade-off is fundamentally positional advantage versus long-term resource disadvantage. And so basically, Trump's game plan via this structure has to be to try to set himself up at a point of time where he, as early as possible, can safely assume control of the entire political system while retaining stability and control of it in the aftermath. And for each subsequent period of potential loss of control, he has to continue making gambits to enhance his positional advantage at the cost of a greater and greater endgame disadvantage, until he makes that final follow-through. This final follow-through will be for all the marbles. If it doesn't work, if he misses, if it gets fumbled upon execution or closure, well then, even a miracle wouldn't likely be enough to save us at that point. And so it is for this reason why it is probably strategically the best play to let the left play out their hand and maximally exert themselves. To feign defense when really you are securing positional advantage instead. One more time. To feign defense when really you are securing positional advantage instead. This is exactly what I was saying on the Labe yesterday. The right play right now, in the assessment of the administration, and that I agree with, that this guy agrees with, and that all the smart people agree with, if you don't agree with this, you're not a smart person, the correct play is to feign defense while securing positional advantage and allowing the left to play out their hand. Betting that they don't have some sort of deus ex machina that's going to come in and suddenly secure some great advantage for them. Because if they misstep right now, they risk giving them some sort of advantage they don't currently have. And it's not like, if you accidentally mess up and you give them some advantage they don't currently have, well, you could just make it up later. No, there is no making it up later. We're on an inevitable trajectory toward all the marbles. So he says, why? How is that? Well, a big part of the puzzle here will literally just be getting normal Americans to be on board with this. That's most likely issue number one. If he doesn't have public support, even if he has the military manpower and infrastructural might to successfully carry out what would, in plain language, be the permanent elimination of our democracy and its life as a real or merely feigned political system, then it doesn't matter. Because hundreds of millions of people, plus foreign governments and their resources, will sweep in and take over amidst the power vacuum. And, as we see every week, China and other countries are already situating themselves to do just that. Agro-terrorism, control of our grids and power infrastructure with the capacity to shut everything down just like that, etc. Which everyone, perhaps even including the new administration, seems to ignore. So, you have to get normal Americans to be on board with this because effectively what the end game has to be taking total and absolute control of the political system. But normal Americans have been conditioned for their entire lives and for the lives of entire lives of their parents and the lives of their grandparents that the worst possible thing that could ever happen is for a single entity to take absolute control of the political system. Formally, publicly, apparently to everyone. That is the end game to most people. That is the worst possible outcome. So the gambit they're having to play here is how do we take absolute control of the political system that is comprised of people who have been conditioned for decades to see the taking control of the entire political system as the worst possible case scenario, how do we do that and get them on board with us doing that? Knowing that even if he has the military manpower, which is questionable right now, and the infrastructural might to successfully carry out that total takeover, if the people are not on board with it, you now just created a power vacuum. And there are plenty of hostile actors ready to swoop in and capitalize on that opportunity. It's the very definition of an own goal. So in this final winner-take-all, one-chance lunge, Trump needs to be able to not only take out the whole system, but withstand domestic terrors in the aftermath, as well as withstand outright foreign attempts to plainly activate sleeper cells or their equivalents, in conjunction with mass drone attacks, on-the-ground warfare, and anything else, etc., etc. If they're going to do this big escalation, everyone wants to see the big declaration of martial law and the huge mobilization and just do the big dicking thing already. I want to see it. I'm really impatient. The right time to do that is when you are fully prepared to manage everything that's going to immediately happen on the heels of that. Right now, it's very obvious, I think, that they do not have the military manpower to withstand that. They do not have the popular support for something like that. Popular support is like at an all-time high and growing, but it's fickle and it would turn very quickly if the skittish normies got freaked out. And so with those things, not being able to sustain it would be worse. So making the move and not being able to sustain it would be worse than not making the move. Continuing the thread. And there's no reason why foreign countries cannot team up in their efforts to do this with other countries and or domestic groups already established here, all the while trying to predict based on their own intel's understanding of his position as to when he will pull the trigger on this attempt, so they could be ready and make themselves as impossibly difficult to respond to or absorb the damage of as what is possible. And all of this is really difficult to juggle at once, especially when trying to transition a completely compromised system into the hands of his own agents after almost 100 years of its sovereign rule over you, wherein which around 80 years of that, the infrastructure established has been developed to be quite effective and resilient against any attempts to penetrate it or disassemble it of its parts most particularly. So you've got to juggle all of this while also maintaining this full transition, basically trying to get the system to do the thing that the system was constructed to not do. They say the Nuremberg regime, essentially the premise of the Nuremberg regime was outlawing being right wing in the West. That's what this is talking about. We've lived under a regime that is constructed to prevent the rise of an actual government. We've been living in a state of decreasing government. This is why the anarcho-tyranny has become so evident. The government is retreating. It has been receding back away. You can think of this like a wave on the shoreline. Well, what happens when the waves recede out really, really far? Well, here comes a tsunami. We don't want that tsunami to be destructive. That tsunami needs to be constructive. Here's where the analogy breaks down. That tsunami has to be constructive, which is going to require an extraordinary amount of energy, coordination, political will, and buy-in from the people. This is a regime change operation. And if you pull the trigger on the regime change operation too quickly, you will leave everyone much worse off than if no regime change had ever been attempted in the first place. So this, while constantly dodging assassination attempts and dealing with countless other necessary upkeep issues, is just quite the job to pull off. If he can sequentially and even moderately peacefully and stably do so, he will prove one of the greatest men to ever walk the earth. And from there, we can focus on stripping the rest of the occupied Western countries, which is all of them, of their parasites as well. But again, keep in mind that these players will be active when they sense the big play coming on. And there will be action on the ground in the United States from both them and others when this happens, in ways which we are mostly unable to comprehend or anticipate. Continuing on with the game tree, however, this begins the bread and butter of the whole post, we see that every time Trump's administration determines that they will not be able to pull the trigger on a full comprehensive sweep of the system before the next node, read election, takes place, the utility in tearing away at a few judges or rioters or state officials leading up to it does not do any good on its own unless it helps with other variables, like public image. Because if the election is lost at that node anyway, it's only another trade-off of relative material standing, which only further solidifies our total and likely final loss. So at worst, it digs the grave deeper. At best, it doesn't change anything. This is what the panicans, they're always chimpers, this is what they don't get. You want that emotional gratification of seeing just a little bit harder of a crackdown on some rioters, or see some local mayor get arrested, or you want to see a couple of pawns, or maybe even like a bishop or a rook get taken off the board. But with all the different variables that are intersecting here, you have to weigh, is taking this rook off the board actually going to benefit us long term, or is it going to compromise us? Will we take a public relations hit from this that will cause a loss of power down the line? We'll pander to the base, who have proven that when we pander to them, by and large, they just say it's not enough. We're talking about a bunch of arrests and stuff here coming up shortly. All these people have been saying, where's the arrest? It's not real until the arrests start happening. Then the arrest starts happening, and then it's like, oh, well, those charges aren't enough, or, oh, it's not going to mean anything, or oh, the jurisdiction is wrong, and they're just going to get off anyways. It's never enough. So why would you pander to people like that? Why would you potentially sacrifice your long-term power to offer a little bit of red meat to a bunch of people who are just going to spit at you in the first place? And so really the EV here, what the game theory's Nash equilibrium solution is here, is to weigh the variables proportionately, where presumably public support to a total system transfer is by and large the highest variable to account and strategize for, and to then do whatever's possible to build up that narrative that generates public support without depleting your material resources in the meantime. Unless it somehow makes the attempted future system transfer easier for you, then the associated loss in public support makes it more relatively difficult. Meaning, ultimately, the final goal is to get public support for a total system transfer. That's the highest variable to account and strategize for. If the public supports it, then it will happen. It doesn't matter what foreign people do. It doesn't matter what embedded sleeper cells getting activated do. If the public has tipped beyond that point where they're like, yes, give us a new system. We trust you to be the one to guide us into the new system. Once we cross that threshold, then everything is on the table. But until we get to that threshold, it's not like it's an inevitability that we're going to keep progressing toward that threshold. So, if it makes sense to execute an arrest or a crackdown or a mobilization of troops into a given area, if doing that moves us toward that threshold, then that's a good thing to do. That threshold being the point at which public support tips over into full support of, not full, it doesn't have to be everyone, it has to be there's like a critical mass. Once you reach a critical mass of the public supporting the transition to a new system, then you can make those moves. But if making that move is going to give you a short-term win, while also degrading your public support, making it a long-term loss, then those moves are self-defeating. And anybody who's advocating that you make those moves early is either retarded, they don't get the game, or they're an active subversive. And it doesn't matter, really, because their effect is the same. This sort of scenario, one in which the attempted future system transfer is easier for you than the associated loss in public support makes it more difficult. That sort of scenario is unlikely because the public is naturally predisposed to have a low stress tolerance to this sort of stuff because of all the conditioning, all of the authoritarianism conditioning. They're very jumpy. They have a low stress tolerance for that. And so for many reasons, it's most likely going to be best to do one swift and overarching system sweep when it does happen. And so to try to sweet talk the public and tell them the best story you can while making the execution of this transfer as clean, quick, and seamless as possible, that is going to have the best chance to succeed. You need to have as many of the moves that make up that system transfer process. So if you take the whole system transfer process and you break it down into like a sequence of moves, you want those moves to be as compressed on the timeline as possible. You don't want to space them out. You want to try to take 5 or 10 years to make those moves. Ideally, you want those moves made in 1 to 3 months. You want to do this really, really rapidly all at once, which means you have to build an incredible amount of political capital. You have to amass the greatest sum of political capital, perhaps in human history, to make it possible to do this swift transfer. Which means, necessarily, if now is not the time, and I think it's obvious now is not the time, there's nowhere near the public support for this full system transfer. And I'm talking about declaring the Democrat Party a terrorist organization and arresting the leadership, arresting judges, raiding the New York Times office and arresting journalists. That's the sort of thing we're talking about. It's very obvious that that is not remotely politically tolerable right now. Which means all of the little moves that lead up to that you have to hold off on them as long as possible. And build up as much political capital as you possibly can before cashing in those chips. So to try to sweet talk the public and tell them the best story you can while making the execution of this transfer as clean, quick, and seamless as possible, that is going to have the best chance to succeed. Otherwise, playing defensively is very often a losing proposition in game theory. However, as they say in my field, well-timed aggression wins pots. And sometimes you just have to cover your bases until your opponent gives you a window to go for it. So here, what they are doing, what the game theory appears to suggest, is that letting the left show their true colors without much resistance, and to exhibit a lame response, will have the effect of accelerating the public's opinion towards you in the eventual necessitated aggressive and system-capturing actions of your own. So the more agitated that you get watching this, how are they letting this stand? How is this allowed to keep happening? That's why. The goal is to get way more people feeling like you. Nowhere near enough people feel like you right now. You need to have like ordinary, non-committal shitlibs saying, how is this being allowed? Why is Trump so weak and ineffectual? Why is he just letting these terrorists roam around in my street? Trump needs to have like a 65 or 70% approval rating in Seattle. That's the point you have to get to. And so that feeling that you're feeling, why are they just letting this happen? Why are we getting any response? Why is it all talk? Where's the action? You feel that way, but you've felt that way for a decade or longer. The goal is for ordinary moderate centrists to feel that way. The goal is for a substantial portion of leftists to feel that way. Because that's the point at which you can execute. And so letting the left show their true colors like this, letting cities burn, letting police departments engage in active insurrection is a feature, not a bug. Trent Fears says, don't make me tap the sign. We cannot allow the DNC to look like the underdog. Correct. Yes. So the longer that you feel that, the longer that you feel like this aggression will not stand. They're aggressing. There's so much aggression happening. How are they allowing this to happen in American cities? Again, feature, not a bug. That sentiment needs to build. Samoa Bob says 100% cannot let their weakness be a strength. If they garner sympathy, the game will be over and they survive this. We want them crushed, or at the very least the progressive values they tried to push be crushed, and the party completely transformed. I prefer the part to be crushed because it will send a message to the future. Right. Yes. Shout out to Anonymous, has gifted 5 more subs. 1 to Douglas Archer, 1 to Mrs. Kingpilled, 1 to Jukebox Wizard, 1 to Forever Bulk, and 1 to Screwed Up Nevsky. Man, the chat is just full of names that I know now. Can hardly swing a dead cat without hitting a patriot. Thank you, Anonymous. Appreciate you gifting the subs, and congratulations to the new sub receivers. How about another Erica?
Auf der Heide blüht ein kleines Blümelein. Und das heißt Erika.
Okay, let me go over and check the score here real quick. Gino grounding into a double play. Of course. What do we have? Back-to-back walks, a strikeout, a double play. They just don't want to close this one out, do they? Going into the 14th inning. My people have got to be just absolutely screeching at this point. I can just imagine my dad is aging a decade tonight. I could just hear him ranting and raving about this. Continuing the thread. So if you can't actually take them out overall before the next node/election, let them exert their ruthless tyranny over their comparatively small-scale domains. Even if it doesn't feel like that to us, because our lives and livelihoods are often the largest scales we can see or comprehend of at any given point in time, and use that to retain your overall endgame playability while, more importantly, maximizing your overarching narrative dominance as well. You follow that? So if it's not possible to execute the full system transfer, the full takeover, before the next election, then the correct play is to continue amassing political capital, begin expanding your reach behind the scenes, playing defense, establishing precedent, building up forces, building up narrative, and allowing them to tyrannize. This is what I've been saying. There's going to be more violence. There's going to be more suffering. There has to be. There's no way around this. This isn't negligence on the part of the administration. This is them playing the game properly. Because we are in a war. There is no prevent the war. When you say, if there's more bloodshed, that's on the hands of the administration for letting it happen. You're not recognizing that we're already in a war. In a war, people die. Blood is shed. Sometimes generals have to send their troops to a place where they know that they are going to die. Because that's what's necessary to win the war overall. And we are now in a society-wide war. This is what warfare looks like nowadays. If the people are not prepared, by the people I mean the general public, is not prepared for a comprehensive dominating win, or if they do not have the military control or the infrastructural operational control to make that happen now, then more violence has to happen. This is a hard truth. That violence has to occur because it has to reveal the evil that we face even more. Until even the most politically checked out FanDuel American normie can't deny it. So if they can't execute the full takeover before the midterms, they need to draw this out as much as possible. And if you want them to be successful, if you're really champing at the bit, you want to see that big move, you want to see the full system takeover, the best thing you can do to contribute in this domain is to develop, to build capital for the administration. They need as many people as possible building capital for them so that they can amass sufficient capital to when they cash in all of those chips, they're not bankrupting themselves in political capital terms. This is why we truced. We truced because we have no other option. We can't just wait till the next election. That's some guy replying to me the other day. He's like, I can't believe you would say that there's no, we don't have any better option than Trump. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? Literally, what do you even mean? Is this like your fan fiction in your head where you just like do a rain dance and suddenly we have a different president? You just like open up DoorDash and say, I don't like this president anymore. Let me leave a bad Yelp review, and then suddenly I'm going to get a different one who's better. Spoiler alert, presidents are elected. Those elections happen every 4 years. If you think that we can do better than Trump, maybe we can. Sure, I'll concede that point. We could do better than Trump. Our next opportunity for that is 2028. Do you realize what time it is? Do you realize that just like twiddling our thumbs until 2028 and then trying again means the game is lost? I don't care what you like. This. Oh, we could do better than Trump. This is. Go play in the sandbox, man. Go dig around in the cat shit. That's all you're cut out for. Back to the thread. There will be times where defects occur unpredictably from our lens. They're unpredictable for us. For instance, sending National Guards to cities is an example where showing constituents what it could be like is plausibly just unilaterally net positive EV across all variables. Meaning that when they send the National Guard into DC, and all of a sudden people living in DC are like, oh wow, actually it's kind of nice. I can go walk around at night. It's not too bad. Maybe that Trump guy's not so bad after all. Suddenly, my personal life has been directly affected by this thing, and it's changed my perspective. You might not have necessarily expected that, but these things can happen suddenly. And in cases where the public has been so beaten down they have no idea what they're missing out on or what could have been this whole time, it's usually going to pay dividends to show them. Especially if it can be executed with an optics that explicitly ease such that it may feel as simple as flipping a switch. Where constituents then feel not only gratitude, but anger that it could have been this way the whole time. Ultimately, stuff like this will happen a lot. This whole ordeal is like tightrope walking over a burning building while juggling knives and being shot at on multiple sides as well. It will not be easy. There will be mistakes. But also, there will be a number of very high IQ game theoretic implementations here that you are not going to parse as such and will instead get very mad and catty at instead. That's just how it's going to be. You are not in the driver's seat and you have no idea what's going on. So that's just how it's going to be. Period. You are not in the driver's seat. No matter how much you chimp No matter how much you think that your chimping is causing something, you are not in the driver's seat. There are things happening you cannot comprehend. Like Rand Paul saying, we don't know for sure that those are narco-terrorists. Oh, now when the president engages in military operations, he needs to first run it by everyone and be like, hey, look, here's all of our proof. Pretty please, may I use the military now? No. Some things you're just not going to be given a justification for. And all of this, we deserve this. They need to tell us all of this. We need answers. Just drives me fucking crazy, man. No, you don't need answers. You don't need to be told all of this. You don't need to be read in on anything. You need to fucking trust the plan. Because there is no other option. If they're telling you, they're telling everyone. And there's a whole bunch of things that I don't want them telling everyone. I would rather be ignorant. I would rather you be ignorant. Because that means other people are ignorant as well. There are operations happening all over the place right now. And in many of those cases, those operations need to maintain operational security, which means not telling anyone, which means not telling you. And if you don't like that, tough. Deal with it. Go for a walk. Start scrapbooking or something. Come up with a hobby. Because it's just going to keep going whether you like it or not. So that's the end of that analysis. Godspeed to Trump and his entire administration. But I will say, when reading and thinking about strategy as of late, I kept comparing game strategies I mastered in my youth versus themes I've noticed in various wars. Where in wars, sides that play defensively with no drive to win, but instead not lose, tend to get inevitably crushed in the end, no matter their range and degree of dominance otherwise. And I really dwelled on this because I used to be a fairly competitive ping pong player growing up for a little while, and my strategy was always defense, defense, defense. And I basically made sure to always return the shot in a way that was consistent, safe, and replicable, but also maximizing the likelihood of my opponent making a mistake. And when you look at war histories, this strategy doesn't seem to hold up, yet for me it worked exceedingly well, as I won multiple tournaments with it versus players of similar technical skills and far more experience than me. But in thinking about that, I realized in those wars, they never went on offense in any meaningful, overwhelming sense, in a playing for all the marbles sort of way. In ping pong, just as in the game theory of Trump's admin situation here, it's not actually like that at all, even if it appears to be so on the surface. Because in reality, it is just an implicitly intentional buildup, followed by spontaneous, well-timed aggression, based on an opponent's poor response, in which the reflexive occurrence of is entirely unanticipated prior. So there's an intentional buildup. This is what, like Russ Vogt, Stephen Miller, the stuff that these guys have been working on and doing. Scott Bessent. It's like, what's happening? Is there something? It doesn't seem like they're doing anything. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it's like, oh, holy shit. There was this whole big plan all laid out. Remember when they were elected? Inauguration day hit, and all of a sudden there was just this massive swarm of executive orders. And even people who were close to the administration or who were close to the campaign were like, even I had no idea they had all of this ready to go. So there's a whole lot of intentional buildup happening behind the scenes to position them for when the opportunity strikes that they can engage in spontaneous, well-timed aggression that's based on an opponent's poor response, in which the reflexive occurrence of that response, meaning that the opponent responds poorly and they're just doing it reflexively. That poor response was entirely unanticipated prior. In such cases, we basically remain as prepared as we can be and execute based on hardwired reflective instinct more than anything else. So yes, ultimately the Trump admin's play here seems to be just good defense in anticipation of overwhelming selective offense. That's a good summary of the entire thread. If this is all like too many words for you, there's your summary right there. The Trump admin's play here seems to be good defense in anticipation of overwhelming selective offense. At the end of the day, the left is impulsive. They cannot contain themselves or self-police, and there is near infinite EV to be captured in that. Thus, to me, that appears to be what they're trying to do, which is way smarter than anything I was giving them credit for prior. In other words, they're like giving the left the rope to hang themselves with. They're being disciplined and controlled and waiting for opportunities where the left steps on a rake and they can massively capitalize on it. As for you, how can you help here is by positioning yourself to invert the left's historical narrative of us and retake control of it ourselves. That and institutional recapturing plus mass social organization. In other words, propaganda. Invert the left's historical narrative of us and retake control of it ourselves. Propaganda, 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 propaganda. Propagandize the normies to support Trump, to fall in line, to accept the inevitable system-wide switchover that will happen, whether it happens with Trump or after him, under the inheritor of his mantle. This is what you can do. Truce and convince others to truce. Number 2, institutional recapturing. Make intentional choices in your career path now. Should have been happening before, but you could do it now. Make intentional choices directed toward institutional recapturing in whatever domain. We need it all over the place. So whether this means moving up in your own company, moving laterally into another one, starting a new one, whatever. Getting yourself hired into the administration in some capacity, joining the military, running for local office, supporting, getting to know your local sheriff and supporting him, building up a local community of what could be considered, I don't know, something sort of vaguely like a militia, perhaps. Local guys who are all networked and connected with game plans for certain eventualities. Plus, relatedly, mass social organization. Get in proximity to patriots. And yes, Slutty Milk, apply to be a homeland defender. That's part of the institutional recapturing. Put your money where your mouth is. Apply to be a homeland defender. He says, one thing I'll add here, as it was structurally obvious to me, but I wrote this after being awake for over a day in one burst, so I missed explicitly laying out or refining a few concepts quite badly, I fear. So primarily, I worry I missed in the above that when I say the Trump admin backs off because they can't sweep before the next node, thus they need Goldilocks conditions for particular aggressive actions to be worthwhile. What I'm saying is, the crazier they allow the left to get without hammering down on them, generally speaking, and I do mean generally because these heuristics can be loaded and messy, the more they get to basically preserve their historical, cultural, moral narrative capital with the public, such that it only is that which allows them to further build their case to the public with respect to using absolute force in the congruous future. But also, and that which is structurally far more apparent for these purposes, it is that the more you let the left lash it out in the interim, without cashing in on your narrative force, capital or currency, whatever you want to call it, with exceptions, the more likely you are to win elections in the interim. The guy's wordy, so one more time. The more you let the left lash out in the interim without cashing in on that narrative force, capital, or currency, the more you maintain your stack and just let them chimp, holding your frame, the more likely you are to win elections in the interim. The worse they get, the better you look by comparison. Thus, buying yourself more time and a greater claim to try for absolute power. Again, generally speaking here. So formula and game tree breaks down like this. Can't logistically take over the country yet? All right, well then suspend use of select federal force to allow the left to exhaust its expenditure of their own capital, which here is the public's tolerance of its behavior. Because in this gay commie world, having the moral upper hand will win you midterms and presidential elections, if you could not get killed. Thus, the tree breaks down by going into nodes where the admin survives plus accrues more capital, but does not make moves for the whole pie yet. This is the game right now. The game right now is make selective moves, but by and large, accumulate as much capital as possible. Which is why all of the blackpilling and dooming is so potentially harmful. Because the people who are going to blackpill and doom about it are from this really select group of people who are really tuned into what's happening and not representative of the normie position at all. But the normie position is the one that has all of the capital that needs to be accrued by the administration. So those of us who are really clued in need the most narrative discipline of all. We're the ones who need to recognize the game being played and be patient and direct all of our energy at amassing capital from that normie stack to the administration. But when you spend that capital on attacking the administration and trying to reduce their political capital, you're actually making it even harder for them to do what you claim you want them to do. Right now, they cannot logistically take over the country, so they need to amass more capital. So of what utility is spending your time attacking their capital? You're not accelerating anything except for the potential downside. This is why we truced. This is why we meme. To build capital for the administration so that they can get to the point where they can actually start cashing these chips in. Yeah, Trent Fear, hodl that capital, diamond hands. The administration is diamond handsing it right now. And your job, your patriotic duty, is to contribute to their capital stack as much as you possibly can. He says, also, I used a lot of fuzzy and inconsistent language in endgames and material or resource losses being traded off if they use too much force too early, and I still posit that, but my semantics were shit. Reading it back, you can kind of sort of intuit, I guess, but it's really just loaded and sloppy. So part of why I retardedly use the word gambit here, even though it's imprecise and out of context, is that I retardedly wanted to acknowledge the giving up of the theoretical long-term possibility of victory should Trump never make a move for the whole pie indefinitely after entering into these nodes. The structure of it, as it was already such that the long-term strategies yielded practically no EV comparatively. So when I say gambit, it's not that I'm saying a long-term strategy was ever viable to begin with, and that's been given up, because it wasn't, and I was hoping that it was obvious. But I'm trying to say that in the land of what I thought might be more relatable semantics, I was aiming to communicate that in such a case, Trump was basically structurally refining the game tree by forcing a particular range of accelerationist nodes via strategic passivity. Forcing a particular range of accelerationist nodes via strategic passivity. To the left's face-up, violent, and destabilizing behavior and the associated narrative capital that is accrued with its employment of these strategies thereof. But the trade-off, as I called it, was always theoretical and never real in any pragmatic sense at all. Playing for the endgame or deferring indefinitely here is suicide. Endgame and Gambit were chess references I thought would be easier than using my own language. I don't even play chess. Don't know why I got so retarded with everything. But if there was confusion on details, hopefully that fixes it. And, yeah, just clarifying some stuff. So very, very good thread. Breaking down a lot of the things that I've been trying to say. Okay. Speaking of contributing to capital, headed to the 15th. Holy crap. The 15th now. What was this? So, fly out, then a double by the Tigers, then a strikeout, then a pop out. They got Luis Castillo in there now. Holy shit. Then Josh Naylor grounds out, Leo Rivas strikes out, Victor Robles walks, and then gets caught stealing. Okay, so Tigers are coming back up in the 15th. What a marathon. Okay. Reminder. I mentioned this at the show yesterday, but I want to bring it up again. Yeah, please do tip your streamer. The tip link is pinned in the Kick chat right now. It's a Streamlabs link. The tips.kingpill.com is just not working right now. So please do tip your streamer. And if you're in the Pacific Northwest, you would like to go out there, do attend the largest Our Guys speaking and networking event in the Northwest. The tickets are closing soon. VIP dinner is already sold out. You must attend the Oregon Weaving event. It'll be 1 hour south of Portland, November 7th, 8th, and 9th. It's $50 for a ticket. And let me come over here to the website. Here is the place where you would sign up. What does it say here? Welcome to Oregon's third official weaving event. To attend the main event and after party on Saturday, November 8th, purchase 1 ticket per person. This includes entry to the main event on Saturday, entry to the after party Saturday night, and further activities on Sunday. It does not include lodging or transportation. Event venue is roughly an hour south of Portland. We have group housing options. If you purchase this add-on, we will set you up in a house or Airbnb with fellow attendees. That will include lodging on Friday and Saturday night. That option is, I believe, so basic entry ticket is $50. The group housing add-on is $200, so it'll be $250 total. And then they also offer a hotel stay. If you purchase this add-on, we will provide your own hotel room, single bed, and provide transportation to and from the event venue on Saturday. So that would include lodging on Friday and Saturday night and transportation to and from the event venue. We invite you all to join us for further festivities on Sunday, November 8th. We have multiple opt-in activities in and around Portland, which culminate in an all-hands bar outing at Sir Leaf's favorite establishment. And then the VIP dinner is already sold out. The VIPs are Dave the Distributist, Bennett's Phylactery, and who else was there? Dave the Distributist, Bennett's Phylactery, Skylos. I listened to his podcast once. He talked to Tom Luongo recently. I've been following him for a little while, and I don't think I even knew he had a podcast. He had a great conversation with Tom Luongo, and I subscribed immediately. And then Bowl. I don't know who Bowl is, but he's in good company. So, go. This is not a paid ad. I'm just doing this because I believe in the guys. And they asked me to shout it out. And I would be going there for that if I was not going to be in D.C. that weekend. So, if you've got guys in that area and would like to meet up, if you're in that area, you got other people in that area, let them know. You can go meet up with some of the greatest Our Guys and get in proximity to Patriots. And look at that. Anonymous has struck again. 5 subscriptions to Priminal, ER Hank 432, Meat Scott, Austin D. Trees, and Trent Fearer. More names that I know. You're surrounded by Patriots tonight. Shout out to Anonymous. Anonymous is the real MVP. Yeah, Dave is always good people. My Dave's the Pacific Northwest guy. I grew up in the Pacific Northwest and just have I speak that language. I know him. I've never met him. I never talked to him, but I know him. I've known so many guys like him. All right, so let's talk about some of these arrests. New York, well, technically she's not arrested just yet, but New York Attorney General Letitia James has been indicted on criminal bank fraud charges. James is being accused of falsifying records to meet lending requirements and receive favorable loan terms.
New York Attorney General Letitia James has been indicted on criminal bank fraud charges. James is being accused of having falsified records to meet certain lending requirements and receive favorable loan terms. We'll keep up with that story as it.
So, Nate, the lawyer here, was initially saying that he thought that there was no case here, but then, after looking into it a little bit more, he said, "Here's the evidence that changed my mind. The New York AG has some real issues. Evidence DOJ says proves Letitia James defrauded the bank. First, she claimed her Norfolk home was a secondary residence to get better loan terms. Second, she signed a second home rider promising to live there. There's no way that this was done accidentally. You have to sign like 10 different things. If you're getting the second mortgage and it's not going to be an investment property, you're saying that this is going to be a second home, you have to sign like 10 different times and specifically sign a second home rider promising that you are going to live there. There's no way this was just an oversight. And then she immediately actually rented it out to tenants. And part of the significance here is that if she was signing this, if she was getting this as a second home, her down payment would be anywhere from like 3.5% to maybe 10%, somewhere in that range. If it's an investment property, it would be at least 25%. So she is saving herself a tremendous amount of money up front and probably getting a better rate. So then she actually rented it out to tenants and reported rental income on her tax returns. This is not an accident. And then she told the insurer that it was owner-occupied. So she's engaged in insurance fraud as well. She saved approximately $19,000 from the false claim. The case was filed 10-9 in the Eastern District of Virginia. This is cut and dry. There's no like dancing around it. Cut and dry. Clear, obvious, knowing fraud. And Paul Sperry says here, if convicted of the federal fraud and false statements felonies, Letitia James faces penalties including up to 30 years in prison per count, up to a $1 million fine on each count, and forfeiture of her Virginia property. And what this really is the being hoisted on one's own retard. She, generally speaking, you might not necessarily get prosecuted for something like this, especially if you're a public figure. But the terms of the game have been established. She got herself elected saying explicitly, I'm going to go after Donald Trump and get him arrested and throw him in jail. She ran on that. Then she came up with this super novel interpretation of a statute to hit him, try to bankrupt him, and put him in jail for what was effectively like paperwork inconsistencies. While she herself was transparently engaged in open fraud. And they have every incentive now to just absolutely throw the book at her. Look who else. Norm Eisen says, Letitia James held Trump accountable and now he's hijacking the DOJ to indict her in retaliation. This isn't justice, it's abuse of power. We will be amending our existing ethics complaint against Halligan and pursuing other legal measures. Mike Davis says, Norm, you led the hunters. Now you're the hunted. Lawyer up, motherfucker. Justice is definitely coming. Mike Davis is connected in all of this. He's been signaling a number of these things. And I suspect that we're going to hear about indictments for Norm Eisen before too long. This was funny. November 6th, very important day. Mike Davis said, here's my current mood. I want to drag their dead political bodies through the streets, burn them, and throw them off the wall. Legally, politically, and financially, of course. CNN got very upset. Perry, alpha male. I want to sodomize every single person who persecuted or prosecuted my president. Thank you, Perry. Very cool. And Mike Davis signal boosted his. He quote tweeted that original tweet and said, "From mood to reality." Oh, he's feeling himself. And now CNN is sounding the alarm that the following people are under investigation. And I gotta say, I do not understand how this woman has a job. She's so awkward looking. She wears these totally unflattering like jackets, and her hair is really just something really, really off-putting about her. Beyond her being a CNN host, I think her name is like Casey Hunt or something like that. But every time I see her, I'm just like, ew.
Who's next here? Because there, of course, have been...
Like, she doesn't have to look as off-putting as she does. She doesn't have to wear these really, I don't know, like kind of butch lesbian outfits, sort of. She doesn't have to. She could be moderately attractive, but she goes out of her way to look bad.
Who's next here? Because there, of course, have been kind of lists out, and as Scott pointed out, the president freely talks about a lot of the people that he wants to go after. So here are some people that are under investigation right now. John Bolton, John Brennan, Lisa Cook, of course, Federal Reserve, Chris Krebs, Adam Schiff, Jack Smith, Miles Taylor. The public calls to investigate Reid Hoffman, Mark Milley, George Soros, Fani Willis, Chris Wray. This is quite an array of people. Scott Jennings, one person we've heard about is John Bolton, although it sounds like that investigation may have begun under the Biden administration.
Yeah, that started under Biden. And from what I read in the newspaper, they did find classified material, according to the reporting, in his house. And so I don't...
On Bolton...
So look at this list. Already indicted. James Comey and Letitia James. Currently under investigation. John Bolton, John Brennan, Lisa Cook, Chris Krebs, the former CISA director, Miles Taylor, a former DHS official, Jack Smith, a former special counsel, and Adam Shifty Schiff, the pencil neck. And then Trump has called for Reid Hoffman, Mark Milley, George Soros, Christopher Wray, and Fani Willis, all to be investigated as well. That's a good point, Samoa Bob. She does have 90s Insecure vibes. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, 90s Insecure 7 vibes. Like, that jacket is just incredibly unflattering. And she always wears these really awkward things that just accentuate the awkwardness about her. She would not have to look this way. Oh boy, big dumper up. 2 on board. Oh, he lined out. Oh, bases loaded. Julio Rodriguez intentionally walked. What do we got here? We got bases loaded. 1 out. Okay, I'm going to watch this here for just a minute. Bear with me, folks. We got to see what happens. This could be the moment. Bottom of the 15th. Who's coming up? Oh, Jorge Polanco. So he's 0 for 5 today with 3 strikeouts, but he did have 2 home runs in a game earlier in the series. 1-1. You guys, if you guys are actually watching it, you're going to be ahead of me. But I'm just watching on the game day here. Let me pull this up. So let's see. 1-1, bases loaded, full screen. I've watched so many games like this. Is that a foul ball? They've got a whole little animation here now where they got the guys up here and that actually move. Like when they move around, I think it actually like they've got trackers on them or something. Two and 1, 2-2. In play runs. In play runs. In play runs. 3-2. Oh boy. We gonna get a walk-off walk? How would that be? Advancing on a walk-off walk. It wouldn't be as bad as what happened to the poor Phillies last night. Come on. Is that a base hit? Did it happen? In play runs! Woohoo! I just want to see confirmation. Is it over? This is like the worst possible way to watch a game, but that in-play runs always give you such a rush. Seattle in the ACLS. It's over. Woohoo! Ha ha ha! I get a little bit more emotionally invested now. Apologies to my Michigan boys. I would say that I feel for you, but sorry, I don't. That is a very gratifying ending. I can't wait to watch the highlights later on, and I can just imagine how all my friends back home are chimping out now. Okay, back to the show. Appreciate you guys tolerating the little diversion there. So, this guy here, Adam Housley, who is a former AP winning former senior news correspondent and former professional baseball player, says, I'm hearing Christopher Wray is now in the crosshairs. Basically, anyone involved in Crossfire Hurricane or Russian collusion is going to face their day. Is it not over? It should be over. Yeah, it's final. It's over. Yeah. Okay. So everything that I read that whole long tweet about how they're proceeding very methodically and they're maintaining a largely defensive posture and then selectively striking. Their offensive attacks are selective. And it really cannot be any other way. It has to be this way. There is not the existent political capital or the public support for them to go ham on this. But I talked about this in the show yesterday, they lay the groundwork. They establish the narrative over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And all of us who are following it closely every day, it's like, oh, okay, you keep saying this. Where's the action? Where's the action? But the action has to be slow and deliberate. That's how you know it's serious. If they weren't serious about this, if they were actually trying to blow the whole thing, they would be hyper-aggressive on this. They would be doing this sloppily, rather than very cautiously, carefully, deliberately, intentionally, methodically. Svetlana Lakova, who is rather in the know herself, an interesting character. You can go look her up if you want to know more about her. But she says, Chris Wray is under national security investigation for obstruction of justice, including obstructing the Durham investigation. Documents were hidden in Wray's office in the 7th floor of the FBI HQ. They were put in burn bags in a secret room to be destroyed. Quoting from this article here, the Justice Department is conducting a national security investigation around the FBI leadership when Christopher Wray was director, in the latest probe by the Trump administration of the president's political enemies. According to two people familiar with the investigation, the Western District of Virginia is leading the inquiry related to alleged destruction or mishandling of documents connected with the Durham Special Counsel investigation. The investigation is looking at multiple potential subjects from the top leadership of the FBI from 2020 through 2024 at the time Wray was director. Investigators have been seeking interviews in recent weeks and have spoken with staff who worked on the 7th floor of FBI headquarters during Wray's tenure, where the leadership suite is, the sources said. Multiple prosecutors are working on the investigation of the Wray-era FBI front office, which was of particular interest of now FBI Director Kash Patel from his first months in the job. The investigation includes questions about documents that were stored in burn bags, which are often used to dispose of paper versions of classified records. The investigation appears to be intersecting as well with the recent declassification of part of the report written by former Special Counsel John Durham, who had examined investigators who handled sensitive political investigations around Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton in 2016, one of the sources said. And I, again, am skeptical of the idea that this was actually stuff that was just found in burn bags. It's possible. It's possible they were like that sloppy or that, that they were just inefficient or made mistakes or, whatever, that they actually just left this evidence laying there. I'm very skeptical of that. I think that the administration, that Trump and his inner circle have had these documents, most of these documents, or many of these documents, for a long time. And that those may have even been the documents that were in Mar-a-Lago, that they had there to bait them down, to get them to come do that raid and open up Florida as an option for the grand jury, for actually formally prosecuting out of Florida. That's been my speculation all along. But as Samo Bob says, I can also see their confidence leading to negligence. That's also possible. It's also possible that there's some sort of patriot within the FBI who intentionally left these things there, who planted them. There's been lots of reports of whistleblowers within the FBI and the CIA who were very troubled by everything that was happening, and they went in and left something there, knowing that it would be found later on. I also saw a report yesterday that when Tulsi got in there and started declassifying some of this stuff, there was stuff in there that they didn't even expect to see. There was way worse than they expected that hasn't even been released yet. So we'll see what more declassification may be coming down the line. But if they're doing this properly, they are going to slow burn all of this. Ideally, the hammer really starts to drop after the midterms, or in the direct lead up to the midterms, where they really start framing this as a systemic Democrat Party matter. That this is something that has pervaded, has been formal policy within the Democrat Party, and it implicates all of the leadership within the party. Start hammering that over and over and over again throughout the summer and the fall in the lead up, and maybe we get a great October surprise before the midterms. That would be if they're doing it right. And this should be pretty obvious. So if you're really mad this stuff hasn't happened yet, you're basically wanting them to be politically retarded just to make you feel better. If they're doing it right, if they're going to do it right, you would sit on this stuff and you would drag it out. You would maximize the pain. Article from the Gateway Pundit: Trump's former national security advisor John Bolton is expected to face criminal charges for mishandling classified information in coming days. This is a drumbeat that has been going for a while now, so I expect that this is going to be followed through on. I definitely think that we are going to see criminal charges for John Bolton coming soon, and could not happen to a more repugnant mustache haver. Seth Levy. Now what will the Bondi haters say? Someone's going to be annoyed by that. Now, here's an interesting thing from Shipwrecked Crew. He says, let me suggest a reason behind the fact that Lindsay Halligan has been the only person who signed the indictments of Comey and James. This is James Comey and Letitia James. Lindsay Halligan, if you'll remember, is the woman who was, sorry, let me back up here. The district attorney that was responsible for this prosecution was, I forget the name of, I forget his name now. It was like, I can't remember. All I've got now is the former Packers quarterback Kurt Benkert in my head, and it's because the guy's name is something similar to that. But he was, from the sound of it, he was trying to slow walk this case for Comey until it got past the expiration of the statute of limitations, which was September 30th. And they caught wind of this, that he was subversive, basically, kicked him out on his ass, replaced him with Lindsay Halligan, and the indictment happened almost immediately after that. Now, she is the only person who has signed the indictments of both Comey and James. Shipwreck says, the supposition here by many who claim they have insight is that no other attorney in the office was willing to sign. I doubt that is true, but Lindsay Halligan is licensed in Florida. DOJ attorneys only have to be licensed in some state. They do not need to be licensed in the state where they work for DOJ, i.e. Virginia or DC or Maryland. How many Trump-connected lawyers have had bar complaints filed against them in the jurisdictions where they are licensed? Many jurisdictions allow third parties to file misconduct complaints. By only including her signature on the indictment, Halligan insulated any other attorney involved in the investigation. She likely has little or no fear from the Florida Bar Association. Attorneys who come in behind her to prosecute the case have insulation by the fact that the grand jury has indicted the case, and they had no role in that. Now they're just doing their job and preparing for and handling the trial. Once again, I say, how can you not believe that there is a plan? And it keeps coming back to Florida. So much of this keeps coming back to Florida. Here is the value, the absolute value in having a fully loyal, dedicated state of patriots. God bless Ron DeSantis, honestly. The whole running for president thing was just a catastrophe, but boy, has he ever redeemed himself. Another arrest. This person was arrested during a violent riot by international terrorist organization Antifa. He's also the transgender son of Democrat House Whip Catherine Clark. Look at that. Democrat House Whip Catherine Clark has a son arrested during actually a daughter, I think. I don't know. Let's see, Jared T. Dow, transgender, so actually a woman. So a transgender creature arrested rioting with Antifa, who is the child of the Democrat House Whip. The noose is closing in. And then here's an interesting update on the Palisades fire. So acting U.S. Attorney Bill Asaley in Southern California says, today we are announcing the arrest of 29-year-old Jonathan Renderknecht on a criminal complaint charging him with maliciously starting what became the Palisades fire in January. Here's what climate change looks like. Oh yeah, let's look at the glassy eyes. Zoom in here. Glassy eyes, almost visible on three sides, but has the sunken, lowered upper lid and glassy eyes. And has, that looks to me like the SSRIs. Has the vacant death stare. So yes, here is climate change. Climate change is Jonathan Renderknecht. The complaint alleges that Renderknecht started a fire in Pacific Palisades on New Year's Day, a blaze that eventually turned into one of the most destructive fires in Los Angeles history, causing death and widespread destruction. Among the evidence that was collected from his digital devices was an image he generated on ChatGPT depicting a burning city. These are the images here. While we cannot undo the damage and destruction that was done, we hope his arrest and the charges against him bring some measure of justice to the victims of this horrific tragedy. His initial appearance is scheduled for today at 1:30 p.m. in the U.S. District Court in Orlando. Very interesting. And Bill Malugin says DOJ IDs the suspect they've arrested for maliciously starting the Palisades fire in January. DOJ says 29-year-old Jonathan Renderknecht started a smaller fire in the Palisades on New Year's Day, but it wasn't put out correctly, smoldered, and reignited during the major windstorm on 1/7, ultimately becoming the destructive Palisades fire. So, for an elaboration on that, here is this video.
Boom! Our lawyers months ago told the court what caused the Palisades fire, and today the Department of Justice has proven us right. It was a rekindle of the New Year's Eve Lockman fire and wasn't properly contained by LA City Fire. The city left it to burn and the state left it to burn for nearly a week on their property. They are now on the hook for the dangerous condition that led to the destruction of my town. Told you. The best part is now, finally, we get access to the ATF report. I told you justice was coming. This is just the beginning.
So, what this means here is both, you're seeing, this is the whole game right here. You have the Antifa degenerate who starts the fire. It is insufficiently controlled. And then you have the formal negligence, whether intentional or not, the cooperation of the city leadership in allowing it to happen. This is the anarcho-tyranny right here. This is how the formal city leadership and their shock troops cooperate to engage in domestic terrorism. This is what's happening in Chicago. This is what's happening in Portland. Go listen to Tucker Carlson's most recent monologue show. It's so good. I'm so glad he's doing his monologues again. It is absolutely terrific. Highlighting the just monumental sin that is the entire leadership of these democratic cities. Allowing their people to be tormented like this. He talks to Nick Sortor, the guy who was arrested, who is talks about what happened when his interactions with the Portland Police Department. In him being assaulted and then them arresting him for disorderly conduct while allowing the city to just be ransacked on a regular basis. And these are orders coming directly from on high. It sounded like the guys he was standing there hanging out with the Portland cops because he went over to try to like be safer around them because the mob is coming after him. And he's just kind of hanging out with them and like chit-chatting or whatever for a little while. And then all of a sudden a lieutenant drives by and says, arrest that guy. And they're like, him? Yeah, arrest him. And they're like, all right. So they arrest him. And then they're like driving. He says it took him a long time to get to the jail because they're trying to figure out why did we arrest him? What are the charges even? They pulled over on the side of the road, and then the guy gets a call, and his CO tells him to step out of the car so that Nick can't hear the conversation they're having. And what then happened is, so he got directly connected with Pam Bondi and Trump, and they're using this. There's a very interesting parallel here with what happened in D.C. with Big Balls. Big Balls gets in a scrap with some future astronauts, and they immediately capitalize on that as a pretext for unleashing the National Guard in D.C. Here's a case-in-point example of what that whole game theory thread I was reading about is. This is a case-in-point example of this. You wait until they give you an opening, and then you capitalize on it and hammer it. So Big Balls gets assaulted. Here we go. Now we've got narrative control. We're going to capitalize upon this great story of Big Balls standing up for this chick and getting beat up on the street, and we're not going to live like this anymore. Then you get Nick Sortor, who gets arrested for being assaulted, and the police are actively facilitating the Antifa terrorism in the city. So the DOJ comes down on him like a ton of bricks. And they're requesting all of the communications between Rose City Antifa and the police department. And as soon as they did that, they dropped the charges against him. But now they're using this as a wedge, foot in the door. Now we're going to start championing this issue to justify the escalation of naming Antifa a foreign terrorist organization and shining an even greater spotlight on what's happening in Portland. There's your moment. You get that moment and you capitalize on it immediately. We've seen this happen at least twice now, so I think that this is an intentional operation by the administration. Yeah, Nick Sortor is on a mission to destroy that connection now. Yes, Portland PD. Portland PD has to be taken over by the feds. But again, that case has to be completely undeniable to even the normies before it can happen. Which sucks for the people who live in Portland who are good people. There actually are some of them. Surprising enough. But it has to happen. Yeah, Trent Fearer, martyrs move the needle, Spurgs don't. That's a writer downer right there. Martyrs move the needle, Spurgs don't. So, back to California. These next several clips that I'm going to show you guys are just surreal. Here is the left. Here is the Dems just stepping on rake after rake after rake. Katie Porter is this psychopathic bitch running for governor of California. This woman is insane. Completely insane. This was it's very interesting that this is being leaked. This is obtained by Politico and leaked. So this has got to be some sort of inside baseball, Democrat candidates warring against each other or something like that. Because this is from a while back. This is then Representative Katie Porter, Democrat from California, and then Secretary of Energy Jennifer Granholm talking in an interview, recorded interview. And now it's getting leaked in the midst of some other scandals with her that I'm going to show you guys in just a minute. So here is her doing this interview and then yelling at one of her staffers. And she has this reputation of being an absolute lunatic, just a complete psychopath. Apparently she threw a pot of mashed potatoes, of like boiling mashed potatoes. She threw it on her husband's head and scalded him. She is a lunatic. Total animal for power. And you can see it here.
You ready for stat number 2?
I am.
All right. $632, which is how much you save in fuel and maintenance costs when you replace your traditional car with an EV, with an electric vehicle. So I lease a Chevy Bolt. It is the best car that I have ever owned. I just plug it into the garage,
Amy Klobuchar energy.
plug, and I never have to go to the gas station.
That's awesome. And $632 is real money. And I know here at
Her voice
UCI,
is
we have a
just-
National Fuel Center Research Center, and they're also doing work on how to make electric vehicles affordable, including for low and moderate income people, working moms, single moms like me, people who really could benefit from an extra $632 in their pocket. And it's also not just the individual savings, but it's also the total savings for our economy. So I'm on the oversight committee, you might know, and that is where we did a study recently this fall in September. And what it showed is if we don't electrify our transportation sector, that we're going to lose more than 500,000 Californians dying prematurely to air pollution and other problems. And the state could lose. Get out of my fucking shot.
I wanted to tell you that that's actually incorrect. It's not that it's electric vehicles. It's that if we don't meet the commitments under the Paris Climate Accord.
Okay, it does. Okay, you also were in my shot before that. Stay out of my shot. Okay, I'm going to start again with electric vehicles saving us money.
Perfect.
Okay.
Just a completely surreal clip. So the chick, her staffer is in the background in her shot because she's like, hey, just FYI, you're wrong. You're literally saying something that's factually wrong. I'm here to help you out and correct you on this so you can get your facts correct on this recorded interview. Meaning, since it's recorded, you could just start over again just like she did. But to make it even more just mind-blowing here, she's doing this recorded interview for a media thing, knowing that she could just do that and it's not going to matter. Yeah, dog shocker type behavior, totally. This is the most sane libtard. Yeah. She's just fine being on camera doing this, knowing that it's not going to come back to bite her. Whoa! Now, I was trying to look over here on, play another even, you think this is, just wait till I play you the next clip. But I want to look and see here her background, because she does not have a Californian accent. And I'm trying to figure out how she wound up in California. She went to Yale, and then she went to Harvard, and she studied under Elizabeth Warren at Harvard. Let's see. She married Matthew Hoffman, with whom she has 3 children, in 2003. Filed for divorce in 2013. Their divorce was contentious, and both Hoffman and Porter sought help for anger management. Her daughter, Betsy, is named after Elizabeth Warren. Hoffman lives outside of California. Porter is the main caregiver for her children. I cannot imagine marrying this thing. Lives in a 4-bedroom residence on the University of California Irvine campus that she purchased in 2011. Her residence's price was $523,000, a below-market price in an area with a median home price of $1.3 million. There's an Episcopalian. So, number of, where was this thing about her, toxic workplace allegations. January of 2023, Politico reported on criticism that Porter was allegedly a terrible, according to some accounts, abusive and racist boss. I guess maybe it's not all bad. The accusations include allegations that she used racist language and ridiculed people for reporting sexual harassment. WAPO interviewed 8 former employees on condition of anonymity about their experiences working for Porter. The staffers described her as domineering and recounted multiple examples of her mistreatment of staffers, including instances where she berated staffers until they cried. In response to the allegations that she created a toxic workplace, Porter defended herself on The View in April 2023 by comparing herself to women of color who were discriminated against. So this interview was in July of 2021, the one that I just played for you here. she so here now, so this is you're getting the Katie Porter experience. Watch this. This is just the absolute state of the Democrats. It's really extremely gratifying to see these sorts of things. But
what do you
watch this? Make sure this is on 1X. Okay, so for a very rare case here, I actually am super impressed with a female journalist.
What do you say to the 40% of California voters who you'll need in order to win, who voted for Trump?
How would I need them in order to win, man?
Well, unless you think you're going to get 60% of the vote. You think you'll get 60%. Everybody who did not vote for Trump will vote for you. That's what you're
saying. In a general election, yes. If it is me versus a Republican, I think that I will win the people who did not vote for Trump.
What if it's you versus another Democrat?
I don't intend that to be the case.
So how do you not intend that to be the case? Are you going to ask them not to run?
No, I'm saying I'm going to build the support.
How? Okay, you know that her staff hates her. You know they hate her because they signed off on her being interviewed with this presentation, this lighting, the entire setup of this whole shot and the lighting on it just makes her look like horrifying. Yeah, the lighting, the wardrobe, the makeup, none of this makes her look attractive or appealing or compelling in any way. It just makes her look like a toxic, villainous bitch.
I have the support already in terms of name recognition. And so I'm going to do the very best I can to make sure that we get through this primary in a really strong position. But let me be clear with you. I represented Orange County. I represented a purple area. I have stood on my own 2 feet and won Republican votes before. That's not something every candidate in this race can say. If you're from a deep blue area.
Oh, look at those eyes.
Republican votes before. That's not something every candidate in this race can say.
Ah! Nightmare shit.
Say, if you're from a deep blue area, if you're from LA or you're from Oakland, you don't have an experience.
But you just said you don't need those Trump voters.
Well, you asked me if I needed them to win.
So you don't
I
think
feel like this is unnecessarily argumentative. What is your question?
The question is the same thing I asked everybody, that this is being called the empowering voters to stop Trump's power grab.
This woman is a psychopath, not the reporter.
Every other candidate has
like, imagine the level of, I don't know, entitlement, detachment from reality to be running for governor. This isn't running for Congress. Tucker made this point in the monologue yesterday. He's like, I think it was Tucker. Maybe it was, no, it was Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh's last show, which was also very good. He was like, if you're going to run for Congress, you could be anything. You could be fucking Jerry Nadler. Look at the guy, the short little gremlin who shuffles around like he just shat his pants. You could be anything if you want to run for Congress. It doesn't really matter. You don't have to be talented. You don't have to be intelligent. You don't have to be compelling or have any redeemable characteristics. But if you want to run for an executive role, if you want to be a governor, if you want to be a president, if you want to have one of those sorts of roles, you have to have a personality. You have to have something that's compelling or attractive or distinctive about you in a positive, compelling way. She's sitting here doing an interview with CBS, and she has, whether it's, I don't know if it's entitlement or if it's just like total detachment from reality, just has zero context of anything outside of her own frame. She thinks she could just like bully this around on camera, and it's going to help her cause.
Answer this question. This is not
correct. And I said I support it.
So, and the question is, what do you say to the 40% of voters who voted for Trump?
Oh, I'm happy to say that. It's the do you need them to win part that I don't understand. I'm happy to answer the question as you have it written, and I'll answer it.
So now she's just like making a semantic thing. She's like, oh yeah, I'm happy to answer your question, but you like frame this in a way that I don't like. So I'm going to derail the interview and just argue with you about this thing while I'm running for governor.
And we've also asked the other candidates.
And she also doesn't even understand her own primary system. Because she's like, oh, I'd be running against a Republican. I don't have to worry about running against a Democrat. In California, she absolutely might be running against a Democrat.
Do you think you need any of those 40% of California voters to win, and you're saying, no, you don't.
No, I'm saying I'm going to try to win every vote I can. And what I'm saying to you is that...
Well, to those voters, okay, so you...
I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to call it. Okay. Thank you.
You're not going to do the interview with us?
Nope, not like this. I'm not. Not with 7 follow-ups to every single question you ask.
Every other candidate has answered
I don't
our
care.
follow-ups.
I don't care. I want to have a pleasant, positive conversation with you ask me about every issue on this list. And if every question you're going to make up a follow-up question, then we're never going to get there.
Ms.
And
Porter,
we're just going to circle around.
I am an investigative
I have never
reporter.
had to do this before, ever.
You've never had to have a conversation with
to end
a
an
reporter?
interview.
Okay, but every other candidate has done this.
What part of I'm me? I'm running for governor because I'm a leader. So I am going to make...
So you're not going to answer questions from reporters? Okay, why don't we go through? I will continue to ask follow-up questions because that's my job as a journalist, but I will go through and ask these, and if you don't want to answer, you don't want to answer. So nearly every legislative...
I don't want to have an unhappy experience with you, and I don't want this all on camera.
I don't want to have an unhappy experience.
Should have thought of that before, bitch.
I would love to continue to ask these questions so that we can show our viewers what every candidate feels about every one of these issues that they care about. And redistricting is a massive issue. We're going to do an entire story just on the responses to that question. And I've asked everybody the same follow-up questions.
Incredible. Yes, absolutely. Who said this? Lord Breezy says someone within the California Democrat Party ordered this hit. Yes, absolutely. This governor race is gonna be gnarly. And there's no way that any Democrat is gonna come out of this looking good in any way whatsoever. And obviously she thinks she's gonna run for president. Like, that's her goal. She's going to run for a Democrat governor and then try to use that as a platform to run for president. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Please, please give it to me. Give me Katie Porter as California governor launching a campaign for president. Oh! Literally me. Oh. How about one of these?
Some of these women, they're so stupid.
Shut up, silly woman.
All right, got to here we go. Got to get a blessing here from the Trumpisher. Trump punish. Someone work on that one for me. I'm going to install another lip pillow. Next one. Oh yeah, this is another one from her. I forgot I had this one in here. James Wood says, I'm done with this bull, and I've only been watching her snort for 2 days straight now. She's intolerable.
A bad judgment. Right, but the real scandal is not that he wants to do it. It's
kind of old.
What?
Again, someone close to her hates her. How are you taking someone who looks like this and dressing her like this? This is literally Dolores Umbridge. Yes, exactly. That's Report on Plugger. They're literally presenting her as Dolores Umbridge, so everyone will hate her. And she does not have the political chops to understand it, because the woman does not exist for anything except for her own, like, what's immediately in front of her.
Sorry?
Yeah, it's such a bullshit.
Are immature. That's why they're kids.
Not at 21. Not all over the world.
21-year-olds are immature. That's why we don't let them drink until they're 21. That's why some of us don't think that 20-year-olds or 19-year-olds ought to be able to go get AR-15s.
They can go fight.
I think there are
arguments. They can be in the army.
Well, I think that's a discussion we should have, because I think the more we know about
I thought if you vote, you should be able to have a...
This is so watch how this pivots. So she's like, "Oh, you guys sound old." You can hear this is like she's been talking to her what do you call it? Like they do like the workshops, and they like say, "Here's your talking points you should use. You need to appeal to the kids. We got to be hip. We got to appeal to the kids. Oh, you old white guys, you don't know what you're talking about. You guys sound old." And they're like, "What the fuck are you talking about, bitch?" And so her whole thing here is, "Oh, the kids are immature. So watch how things pivot as they go through this conversation.
A certain level of maturity, they're deciding whether you should be in Congress or not.
Well, and by the way, I win those votes.
What?
And I win those votes, and I'm proud of it.
I win the votes of the people I just said are immature and stupid. But also, you guys are old. So I don't like you. You guys are dumb because you're old. I want to appeal to the kids. I'm proud of appealing to the kids who are too stupid to drink or own a gun. But also the voting age should be younger, and I'm really proud of winning those stupid votes.
But what I'm
So
saying
you just
is
said you win the votes of the immature.
well, the immature. First off, immaturity is not necessarily an age thing.
Oh, well, now it's not an age thing. So look, this is just like totally, the woman is totally off a rocker.
You can be immature well.
But you just
into
played
your
the age
adulthood.
card. Yeah. You were like, our argument sucks because we're old, which is
No, I didn't say that. I
that's
said
getting
you
so
sounded-
boring.
And by the way, I'm only 58, just for the record.
Shouldn't we critique each other on the content of our ideas, not on those identity politics? Things like,
Oh, man. Okay, so Democrat Katie Porter's campaign for California governor is imploding before our eyes. Even CNN can't hide it. We got a hairy appearance, guys. Let's go.
And I think that Katie Porter's making history because she has potentially annihilated her chances to be the next governor of California, more so than any other candidate I've ever seen so quickly. My goodness gracious. What are we talking about right here? Well, let's take a look. Chance to be the next California governor. According to the Kalshi prediction market, Katie Porter's chances have fallen through the floor. Just 2 days ago, she was the plurality leader in the prediction markets at 40%. Now, get this, her chance has fallen by more than half to just 16%. My goodness gracious. Meanwhile, Alex Padilla, who's not even running for governor of California at this point, he's a sitting senator from that state, his chances have gone up through the roof from 10% all the way to 27%, nearly gone up threefold.
The dude's not even running.
Now, one of the big reasons why the prediction markets have moved so much on Katie Porter's chances to be the next governor of California is because people are really interested in this story. Take a look here. Google searches for Katie Porter at an all-time high, despite Katie Porter having a long political career. Get this, up over 10,000% versus just a week ago. And not so surprisingly, the top topic searched alongside Katie Porter at this point, interview. It turns out maybe you shouldn't snap at a local political reporter.
God, I love Harry so much. Our beloved micro Jew. Okay, guys, big news. Just had a very important thing happen on the Kick channel. The Austrian painter just followed the channel. Yesterday, the Giga Jew started chatting in the channel. Now the Austrian painter is here. So you guys better be on your best behavior. Okay, so as we're talking about all of these Democrat women utterly just face planting, we've got this story out of the Virginia gubernatorial race. And so right now you got Glenn Youngkin as the Virginia governor. He's the guy who I said, I kind of chickened out at the last minute on my J.D. Vance prediction. And the day of, I said that I predicted Glenn Youngkin was going to be the VP. Because I just couldn't be too excited. I was like, I'm going to be let down just a little bit. This was before I realized that the wins were just going to never stop. So Glenn Youngkin has been the VP. The person that has been tabbed as his replacement is this sort of like middle-aged black woman, Winsome Sears, I think is her name. She's not all that impressive, but she's running against a creature, just an obvious, transparent creature of the Democratic establishment. And I faltered in my faith, and I've been forced to repent many times for that. I'll never be able to say that my prediction, I can never say with full 100% accuracy that I predicted that J.D. Vance was going to be the VP. I've always got to qualify it and say that I chickened out at the last minute. But so this last week while I was up in Washington, the story broke of this guy who's running for Attorney General, a Democrat, and he sent these text messages about, at the time, the the Speaker of the House for the state, for the Virginia State House. He was the Speaker of the House. And this guy's text messages were leaked. And this is what he was saying. So this is the context for the clips that are coming up here. Jay Jones, yeah.
Jones. 3 people, 2 bullets. Gilbert, Hitler, Pol Pot. Gilbert gets 2 bullets to the head. Spoiler, put Gilbert in the crew with the 2 worst people you know, and he receives both bullets every time. Colleague.
Gilbert is that Republican Speaker of the House guy. So he says, he's texting him straight up, put him with Hitler and Pol Pot, and I would keep Hitler alive. I would kill the guy.
Jay, please stop. Jones. LOL, okay. I mean, do I think Todd and Jennifer are evil and that they're breeding little fascists? Yes. Colleague. You were talking about hoping Jennifer Gilbert's children would die. Jones. Yes, I've told you this before. Only when people feel pain personally do they move on policy. Jones. 3 people, 2 bullets.
So starting over again. This is real. These are real texts that have been validated as real, and he has stood by them. And the Democrat Party has rallied around him. Remember how I've been saying the Democrat Party is literally a party of terrorism? And that the Democrat Party has to be outlawed? That has to be the upshot here? This is why. This is what these people are. Yeah, Slutty Milk. Democrats are literally just bloodthirsty homicidal maniacs who enjoy rape and trafficking and war. That's what they are. No, full stop. No qualifications. That is the identity of the Democrat Party. Homicidal, maniacal terrorists. This guy's still running, hasn't lost a single endorsement, and actually, his numbers got a boost. So this is not just the elected officials. Many Democratic voters need to be dealt with as well. So in this debate between Winsome Sears, I believe is her name, Winsome, and Abigail Spanberger, she was asked, Abigail Spanberger, who is the Democrat candidate, was asked if she will continue to endorse him or if she'll call for him to drop out. And note this: there's been a pivot here. All of a sudden, Democrats are being pressed by journalists and debate moderators in ways that we have never seen before. This is part of this vibe shift. Now, it's not just because all of a sudden the media is based. No, this is more about, I think, internal power struggles within the Democrat Party as it's starting to fracture and factionalize. But I've been sort of paying attention to the Virginia race for a little while now, just as like, okay, so sort of like generic middle-aged black lady who's not all that electorally compelling, most likely not going to win. The Virginia governor is gonna go back to the Democrats. After this, now suddenly things may change. We'll see, but watch this.
Thank you, Ms. Spanberger. I didn't hear an answer there on the endorsement issue, so I want to just make sure. Will you continue to endorse Jay Jones to be the next?
That face right there. Nothing fills me with unquenchable rage like a woman making this face. The tight lips, the smugness. Oh, man, the women that I've experienced in my life that make that face at you, absolutely enraging.
Attorney General of Virginia, and were you aware of these text messages before they released? You have 30 seconds.
In fact, it appears that it was the
released the text messages and held them for years. So the public was unaware who had knowledge of these text messages for many years.
What did you do about it?
I learned of these text messages the day that they came out, and I denounced them as soon as I learned of them.
She denounces murder.
And importantly, at this point, as we move forward, the voters now have this information that was withheld for them,
You're running to
presumably for
Ms. Earl
political
Sayers,
reasons. But the voters now have the information, and it is up to voters to make an individual choice based on this information.
Ms. Spanberger, I understand what you're saying about the voters, but for you yourself, do you still continue to endorse Jay Jones? 15 seconds, yes or no?
We are all running our individual races. I believe my opponent has said that about her lieutenant governor nominee.
Ms. Earl Sayers,
and it's
Ms. Earl
up
Sayers.
to every person to make their own decision. I am running my race to serve Virginia, and that is what I intend to do.
Thank you, Ms. Spanberger. We just want to clarify, what you're saying is that as of now, you still endorse Jay Jones as Attorney General.
I'm saying as of now, it's up to every voter to make their own individual decision. I am running for governor. I am accountable for the words that I say, for the acts that I take, for the policies that I have put out.
Thank you.
I am responsible for the policies I put out and the work I will endeavor to do tirelessly for the people of Virginia.
Thank you, Ms. Spanberger.
These people are sick. The dude is calling for children to be killed, to inflict pain for the sake of moving policy. He's calling for a father to be shot in the head. And she can't disavow him. This is the absolute state of the Democratic Party. And you can view this in two ways. You could take the dark side or the light side here. The dark side is these people will happily kill anybody they want to get power, which is an existential threat to the nation. Also, this is the state that they have been forced into. They can't even pretend anymore. They have to go out and publicly defend their desire to kill their opponents for the sake of obtaining political power. And debate moderators are even pressing them on it over and over and over again. That was not the only one, though. Another one, talking about boys and girls' bathrooms.
In the Youngkin administration policy requiring boys and girls to use bathrooms aligning with their biological sex. You have 30 seconds.
My priority would be to ensure that local communities, importantly parents and teachers and educators, are able to work together to meet the unique needs of each school and each community. And that is important. And I say that as a mother of 3 daughters in Virginia public schools.
Exactly.
And as someone who used to investigate crimes against children. The way that we keep our children safe is by ensuring they are safe in schools, which includes funding law enforcement and public safety.
But Ms. Spanberger, the question was, would you rescind the Youngkin administration policy requiring boys and girls to use bathrooms aligning with their biological sex? You have 15 seconds to clarify that question.
Such an extraordinarily unimpressive person. And I mean, frankly, the chick she's running against isn't much better, but she at least seems like she's a decent human being. This woman is a ghoul.
And my answer is that in each local community, decisions should be made between parents and educators and teachers in each community. It shouldn't be dictated by politicians.
It shouldn't be dictated by politicians. You bitch. So here you get a little bit of Winsome Sears talking.
So we know that biological men.
Sorry, had to pull that back.
So we know that biological men are larger in strength than women. We understand this. This is biology. If you look at football teams, you can see the difference between males and females. This is not hard. And that's why I'm asking my opponent, if your little girl comes home and said she was forced to undress in a locker room with a biological boy, what would you say? She's crying. What would you say? Are you not going to answer?
Ms.
She just stares straight ahead.
Would it take him pulling the trigger? Is that what would do it? And then you would say he needs to get out of the race? Abigail, you have nothing to say? Abigail, what if he said it about your 3 children? Is that when you would say he should get out of the race, Abigail? You're running to be governor.
Ms. Earl Sears.
I mean, we're talking about murder. We're talking about someone's life being taken from them. Have you nothing to say about that? Are you not going to address it? Really, you can't go any further. You're a governor. You're supposed to stand up for all the people. Are you saying political murder is all right? Have some political courage. What you have done is you are taking political calculations about your future as governor. Well, as governor, you have to make hard choices, and that means telling Jay Jones to leave the race.
This ad needs to be spammed everywhere. Mr. President, please be signal boosting this shit. Everyone associated with the administration, maximize this. This is the Democrat Party. This is what they stand for. They've been completely unmasked. Every single one of them endorses the idea of killing Republicans for the sake of moving policy. If anybody is still affiliated with the Democrat Party, it's because they endorse this. They've had ample time to remove themselves from the party, to no longer be affiliated with it. The party is a lost cause. This is what they stand for. This is why the Democrat Party exists, to acquire political power, to use it to kill good people. Full stop. A GOP PAC launched a 7-figure ad campaign. This is the ad.
Sears versus SPANBERGER on crime. Sears protects children from sex offenders. SPANBERGER allows men into girls' locker rooms. Men like Richard Cox, a registered child sex offender for over 30 years, a lifetime predator. Cox has repeatedly been caught in Virginia locker rooms exposing himself and even pleasuring himself in front of young girls. SPANBERGER's radical transgender policies will let it happen again. Sex offenders around children. Abigail SPANBERGER on crime. Sears.
It's a good one. Yeah, his name is Dick Cox. A sex offender named Dick Cox. I mean, But yes, Miles Sanders says, my parents should be able to recite every word from these clips due to the number of times they've heard it. Yes. Play this everywhere. Plaster it everywhere. Make the Virginia gubernatorial election a national election. Everyone needs to know about this. Everyone needs to hear these clips. You guys later, go to the King Pilled Substack when I post this episode as soon as it's done. Got just a couple more stories here before we wrap. Take these clips. The links are all going to be in there. The King Pilled Substack, or if you're listening on the podcast version, you can go down into the description. All the links are in there. Go grab these links, spam them out all over the place. Share them with everyone you know. This is what the Democrat Party stands for. The dude is on the record saying he wants to see this Republican politician and his children killed. After Charlie Kirk, he wants to see these people killed. He's standing by it. More Democrats are endorsing him. The woman running for governor refuses to rescind her endorsement of him. He's running for attorney general in Virginia. These clips need to go everywhere. You guys can do your part. Spam them all over the place. Meanwhile, nearby, a new poll finds the New Jersey governor's race is now tied. Jack Ciattarelli and I think it's Mickey Sherrill, who is just yet another just extraordinarily unimpressive person. Straight up, just a CIA plant. Just no accomplishments, surrounded in scandals. Stupid, just a stupid woman. They're now tied among, and this is interesting, among independents, he's plus 19. And I think that this number here is almost more significant than this number. Because again, the polling's not perfect. Like polling is pretty it's never been good, and you still have to discount the results pretty significantly. They're going to be weighted against Republicans. But the fact that among independents he's at plus 19, I think that's a pretty strong tell. Yeah, take nothing for granted. This is a sign that New Jersey can flip. Not that we're ahead. Storm the polls. October 28th, in-person voting begins. If you're in New Jersey, October 28th, go vote for Jack Ciattarelli. Now, I don't really know much about the man personally, but at this point, it doesn't matter. At this point, it's strictly down to party. And with the coming crises that we're going to be going through, the party of the governor of each state is going to matter for a bunch of different reasons. But having a Republican governor in New Jersey, even if he's a total just kind of like generic corrupt squish, just the headline, New Jersey flips red, will carry a lot of electoral water in and of itself. And it'd be extraordinarily demoralizing to libs. He said recently, there was a quote recently, he said that he fully endorses everything that Trump has done since he was elected, for whatever that's worth. Yeah, he did mention he wants to eliminate sanctuary cities. So he's talking the talk, definitely. And he's been endorsed by a bunch of Democrats, which you can look at as one of two ways. It can either be the Democrats are endorsing him because he's their, like, subversive angle into it, or the power brokers there in New Jersey, who are more just like noses for power, have recognized they're sniffing the winds of change and realizing where the power is going, and they're just following it. In the New Jersey governor poll, this is by Neighborhood Research, for the people who are definitely voting, he's up by 4 points. So he's up by 19 points among independents, and the people who are definitely voting, he's up by 4 points. Things are looking very good. But the votes actually have to happen. So if you're in New Jersey, go vote for the man. Tell all your friends. North Bergen Mayor Nicholas Sacco, a Democrat, is expected to endorse Republican Jack Ciattarelli for governor tonight. This endorsement did happen. This endorsement comes with votes and some risk. Union City Mayor and State Senator Brian Stack will now be motivated to work even harder for Mickey Sherrill. This is something like 10 Democrats now, 10 Democrat leaders, mayors, and other political leaders who have endorsed Jack Ciattarelli. Ryan Drudusky says this is a big freaking deal. Sacco moves a lot of votes in the Jersey Democratic machine in North Bergen. He's been there for decades and represents the latest of many defections from North Jersey mayors. So we'll be watching that race very closely. And then, Life Support Unplugger says, the Italians are killing it recently. Roman blood memory kicking in. I'm sorry for all the slurs I called you guys as recently as this morning. No, we still call them slurs. We can appreciate them and also call them slurs. That's how you know the society is healthy. Yeah, Isaac says, if the Democrats just came out and said they wanted to kill us, they would probably surge in popularity with their base, which is both funny and horrifying. No, it's true. Jay Jones, after that story leaked, got a boost in the polls. Democrat voters like the fact that he wants to see the children of Republican politicians killed. That's the sentence right there. Democrat voters are more happy to vote for a guy because he wants to see children murdered. The Democrat Party is the party of child murder. The party of terrorism. There's no qualifications to it any longer. That's all that it exists for. It exists for rape, murder of children, murder of fathers, terrorism, money laundering, sex trafficking. That's the only constituency remaining, is the people who endorse that. The Democrat Party must be crushed. Democrat leadership must be arrested. Many of them must be executed. This will happen. Trent Fear says, I always respect the slur nouns of my fellow patriots. Slur nouns is so good. Oh my God. That one's got to enter the lingo. That's got to be a permanent entry into our lingo. The slur nouns. Incredible. Trent Fear gem posting in the chat. Oh man. Okay, and then these numbers are kind of interesting here in New Jersey. So the polling is even between them, but look at the breakdown by generation. So all my boomer haters out there, note the 50 and older demographics are the ones who are most. The question was, if the November 2025 election for governor were held tomorrow, who would you vote for? The 50 and older demographics are all majority Jack Ciattarelli. Kind of an interesting outlier here. The 50 to 59 demographic is the lowest for Mickey Sherrill. There's a big someone else in here. I wonder if there's like another candidate there that like really appeals to the 50 to 59 demographic. It's kind of interesting. And then the 30 to 39 demographic, my poor millennials here, are the strongest in favor of her. And then the Zoomers are also strongly in favor of her, and the Zoomers are the least supportive of Jack Ciattarelli. So, the boomers are still good for something. Young New Jersey people are all Latino and Indian. Yeah, right. All likely brown. Yeah, old New Jersey people are white. Then the very last thing I had here. Oh, this totally unrelated, but an interesting little note for those of you guys who do any business or receive any money through PayPal or Venmo or Cash App or anything like that. The $600 IRS rule has been canceled by the One Big Beautiful Bill. Now the standard is $20,000, and he says but this is actually and. $20,000 and 200 transactions is now the threshold to require a 1099-K. And that's per app. So remember the rules were changed, where actually there was a graduated change that was put in. The rules were going to change, and it was going to be $600. So if you received $600 through a particular platform, Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, whatever, then you'd have to get a 1099-K. The One Big Beautiful Bill canceled that and restored it back to $20,000 and 200 transactions. So what that means is, if you have $19,999 and 199 transactions, each across 5 different apps, you won't need to file a 1099-K at all. And I went and confirmed this. There's just a couple of random accounts talking about it, but I went and confirmed it. So this is particularly relevant for me. because I get the vast majority of my income now comes through those vectors specifically. So that's almost tax-free 100K if done intelligently. Yeah. Yep. Slutty Mook says Trump has the back of his online business Americans. That's right. Thank you, Mr. President. Miles Standish says Cash App, Venmo, Zelle, PayPal sitting at 80K in tax-free revenue for my turf maintenance company. Patriot. Speaking of, King Pilled on Cash App, King Pilled on Venmo. There is the Streamlabs link that you can access. I'll get it fixed here shortly, tips.kingpill.com. And it'll also be posted in the description. And you can join the King Pill Discord, kingpill.com. That's a very good way to support the show and get the most out of it, because if you join that, you get to get added to a Discord full of some of the greatest patriots in the world. Many of them are present here in the live chat right now. Miles Standish, Slutty Milk. Let's see, any other ones that I know who are chatting at the moment. Some of you guys I may not know. That I haven't connected your Discord persona with your chat persona. Mr. Sue is in there. Let's see. Is there any others? Vivo Cristo Rey is in there. Yeah, good people. So go to kingpill.com. Go join the King Pill Discord. Come join us. And reminder, next Saturday evening, King Pill Texas meetup in South Austin. Come hang out with Slutty Milk and Mr. Sue and Buck Johnson and yours truly and a number of other people who will all be there. Shoot me a DM, realkingpilled@gmail.com, or a DM on Twitter @realkingpilled, and come join us. And if you're going to be in the area, if you come join us Saturday night for that, then you could just stay over and go to church with us the next morning. Beautiful little Orthodox parish in Lockhart, St. Andrews. Come join us and hang out with the boys. That's all I got, man. That is it. A shockingly short lab. I can't believe it. That only 3.5 hours. What are we going to do with ourselves? I think I'm going to go watch some Mariners playoff highlights. And maybe get to sleep at a half-decent hour. Even though I've been sitting here downing energy drinks, I'll still be able to knock out. No problem. So enjoy your weekend, guys. Go to church on Sunday. Go spam out all those links we talked about earlier. Make sure you subscribe to the King Pilled Substack. And again, apologies on the YouTube video. It's whenever I play stuff that has copyrighted content in it, sometimes it gets blocked, and I have to just clip that out. So, if you can't find the show on YouTube, Substack is the backup. Just go over to Substack, and you'll get you can watch it there in full. So far, I haven't had any issues there. So that is the backup, and yeah, I'll catch you guys on Monday. If you're not in the King Pill Discord, if you are in the King Pill Discord, I'll see you guys there. Don't know if I'll be able to do, I was thinking about maybe doing a voice chat over the weekend. I'm not sure totally if I'll be able to, but stay tuned. And also go follow the King Pill Telegram channel. That's where I've been posting out some updates. I posted some pictures and stuff while I was up in Washington. And that's where you can get, if notifications aren't working for Kick or for X or whatever, then if you want to know when I'm going to go live, I always post there right when I start the stream, and then when the lab is about to start. So go follow King Pilled on Telegram. Have yourselves a great weekend, folks. I will catch you guys on Monday. And for now, I leave you with Hulk.
When they took a shot at my hero, and they tried to kill the next President of the United States, enough was enough. And I said, let Trumpomania run wild, brother. Let Trumpomania rule again. Let Trumpomania make America